season's done. Everything's done. Baseball's done for what, 3 days, 2 days, 1 day. Jesus Christ! Free agency opens up tomorrow as we're recording this. I think
This is actually
did we
Jesus.
clarify that? When I found it, I thought it
I
was the 6th.
I believe it's like I think it's a week after the World Series or 5 days because
It's
Okay,
this is the time for like options and all that stuff to get
right.
started, and then it opens
Because
up.
Yes, it is 5 days after the conclusion of the World Series.
5 days.
Which
Has it
makes
been
sense because it
5 days?
was November 1st,
So the 6th.
right? Because
Yep.
game
Yeah,
4 was
game.
Halloween night.
Yeah.
So it
When
is.
I looked it up, I was very confused on it because Nate said it was a week, and then I looked it up and it said the 15th, which is definitely not a week, but the 15th is the deadline for people to accept or decline their qualifying offers. So like that happens after free agency opens, which is strange, but so one day we'll
It
say.
makes a little bit of sense that you can kind of see what your market's like
Yeah.
before they make you decide. I don't know.
Yeah. But can teams
It
talk
would
to you if you still have a qualifying? I guess, right?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think it'd be very interesting that if you had to do it by the start of when free agency opens, you have to either accept or
Mm-hmm.
decline, so you don't get a
Mm-hmm.
chance to see what your market's
No,
like.
you have to tell me whether or not you think you're worth 20 mil, which is the qualifying offer this year, right? It's 20
Is
point
that
something.
20.3, I think.
is that the deadline to
Crazy.
accept or the deadline to offer?
Except, I think. I
Well,
think
I don't even think they've put
maybe
out.
not. I don't even know, man.
It's confusing with the qualifying offers because I don't even think. Well, obviously, we don't know
I don't think they put anything out,
any of the
right?
Jays guys.
I was
Because
thinking except, but then that exact thought came into my head. I'm like, we have not offered a single qualifying offer, have we? Or not that we know of?
have you heard of anyone in baseball?
No, not really. But I think it's not a long process, is it? Qualifying offer. Just gonna
It
Google
could
that and see what
that could
happens.
be tomorrow. That could be like by tomorrow before free agency, so nobody's done it yet. Maybe.
It
And
makes
then you
sense.
have what's that, 10 days?
Yeah, that would make sense, right?
According to CBS Sports, teams have until 5 days after the end of the World Series to tender their free agent qualifying offer. So tomorrow
Okay.
is the qualifying offer.
Yeah,
So the same day that it opens up.
And then the free agents have until 4 p.m. on the 14th to accept or reject it.
Okay, so it is a pretty quick process.
That's the 2 weeks kind of thing you were looking at.
Okay, so I was semi right on something at least.
Yeah,
it's a weird process. We might as well talk about the World Series.
Overall, it's just a very strange
Yeah.
process.
Yeah. The World Series has come and gone. The Texas Rangers are your 2023 World Series champions. I don't have a lot to say. I know you guys probably do. I didn't find it to be a very interesting series. Nate and I have argued back and forth on this for a week
fucking
now.
ad nauseum. Jesus.
It wasn't my cup of tea. I thought it was boring. Nate thought it was exciting. Konnor just enjoyed the moment because he found the right wagon and jumped on it.
I'm not saying it was the best World Series ever. I enjoyed it. I thought the games were fun.
I think it's the worst World Series that I've been like knowledgeable of watching. Like there might have been some in the early 2000s and stuff, but like
find your knowledgeable era.
I can remember watching World Series, and I would argue that's like 2009 onwards.
Mets Royals.
I was gonna say Mets Royals.
I enjoyed that one more than this one. I don't know why.
I don't even think I watched a game in it, man.
I enjoyed that one more than this one. Couldn't tell you why. I really like that
because you don't like Texas.
The Daniel Murphy.
They were kind of similar teams
sort
in
of
a sense to this one, right? Like
I
Mets
think
kind of were
the Mets were better than what the Diamondbacks, but they were similar.
No, I'm saying KC was more Arizona.
Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
Speed, defense, a bit of pitching.
Yeah, but they could hit homers, I think was the only difference.
Well, Arizona did.
Really though?
I think at the time
was Morales there at that point, I think. And
yeah.
Hawes, but Hawes never really Salvi.
Locane.
Butler, no. Locane didn't hit bombs, like neither did
but he had a good year.
The guys who were the cornerstones of that franchise weren't homer guys.
Let me see where they rank.
That's kind of what I was getting at. Like,
yeah, you're right. They weren't like big homer team, but I think they did hit homers. I could be way off base on that.
Well, if there's one thing that we can all agree upon, you need to hit home runs to win a World Series.
Yeah.
You know
Like,
what? You know what also helped?
Okay, I was way off. They were way below league average in hitting homers.
a god amongst men named Corey fucking Seager. That's what
No.
makes the difference there.
You know what these two teams had in common?
Old men managers? No, never mind. Lavello's not. I
They've
don't know.
won. So there's like you'd say there's like three aspects to baseball, probably.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
These teams had one thing in common.
Yep.
They were the two best defensive teams this year.
Were they?
And
Oh
they
shit,
were
that is right. Yeah.
1 and 2
On by what metric? Sorry.
fielding percentage.
Okay.
Which I think is kind of one of the fairest to go by if you're
It's
as a team. Like,
yeah.
I don't know how else you measure as a team. And I heard somewhere, I think they were both top 5 all time, which they've said like errors aren't really a thing anymore compared to the way they used to score. So it's probably not the most accurate, but I think that's pretty telling. I think they both were 990 team fielding percentage.
It's pretty good. Not much more you can say. I mean, like, yeah, the defense is huge, but you have to be able to do it on the defensive side and with the bat.
The thing is,
I don't think Texas made an error in the entire playoffs, did they? I heard that somewhere.
Semi had one for sure. I remember.
I think
Okay, so
Semien definitely had the one.
It was a
with
World Series.
the
They didn't make an error.
Yeah. Yeah, but
unless
it
they didn't
helps-
call that an error.
But it helps when you got that defense and chat shit get banged is a thing. Like, just fucking hit bombs, regardless of who you are.
They coupled the good defense with the ability to hit home runs, and that's you got it done. It is what it is. I still don't think there's one way to win a World Series. I think this World Series kind of showed that. Like, as much as they both played great defense, they were completely different teams at the end of the day. Like, the Texas Rangers were going to hammer you to death, and the what do you call it? Arizona Diamondbacks were just going to sit there and just chip away at you and run really fucking annoying to play against the entire time.
See, but the Jays decided to
be neither of those,
to do the Diamondbacks thing
with the guys that should be doing the Rangers thing.
With the guys that should be doing the Rangers.
Mm-hmm. We didn't even really do the Diamondbacks thing though. It was like
we tried.
We didn't chip away at you enough. We got like a guy or two on, and then that was it. And then it's 3 strikeouts in a row. Like, Arizona didn't really strike out. Like, we struck out too much to be doing that shit. You got to be hitting for pop if you're striking out that much.
That's what we were saying. We were built to be the Rangers, but we played like the Diamondbacks. They just don't. It doesn't work like that.
Like you mentioned, we've argued ad nauseum on this World Series and whether we enjoyed it or not. But I think the one thing that we probably all can agree on, this is pretty exciting for baseball as a whole.
Huge.
And baseball fans, because both these teams lost 100 games 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And you look at how both these teams got here. They're two very different ways to do it. Technically, they both snuck in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Texas, not so much. They were
close. At the end of the day, they were still close. They were what, 2 games out?
They were 1 game out of the division.
Mm-hmm. But they were also 2 games out of not being in a playoff.
They held the division for the longest. They had the most man games lost to injuries of any team in baseball, I think, during the regular season as well.
DeGrom was out for the entire year.
Over the Dodgers?
I feel like it's got to be the Dodgers.
Maybe it was the AL.
Maybe it was the AL then.
Yeah,
I heard some. It was one of the top. Like, I know they had a lot. You had Jones, you had Garcia, you had Seager, you had DeGrom.
I think Evaldi missed time too. Really. So yeah.
But you look, honestly, any fan base can look at these two teams and say, "Hey, we got a chance," because they both did it in different ways. Texas went out and they spent a motherfucking ton of money, which is awesome for baseball.
$1 billion, basically. Like,
yeah, well, but that's awesome for baseball that teams are doing that and succeeding. Look at the Mets. Why the fuck would you want to be the Mets who spent? But Texas just showed that you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And Arizona on the other side, they're young, they're fast, they're fun. They took advantage of the rules this year more than anyone else probably, and it worked out for them. I think the game is in a really good spot. Just the fact that it showed you don't have to be Baltimore or Houston or Chicago and suck for
ever.
What, 5 to 10 years? Like, some of those were like almost 10-year rebuilds, and that's terrible. These guys did it.
Colorado,
Kansas City.
There's a ton.
That's That's my TED talk.
Yeah. I'm very glad that Texas did win this one. As much as I hate Texas, I'm glad Texas did win this because
Now, why is that, Brant?
I want teams to spend money.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to see the
Oh.
Arizona Diamondbacks come in with the team they had with nobody I cared about. Like not one
Brant,
player that was like,
Brant,
yeah, let's give him money.
Brant, forget the money. Forget the money.
Eh.
You just didn't want to hear Steve
That
Simmons and
too.
Rob Longley go on about
Sure.
fucking Lourdes Gurriel and Gabriel
Sure.
Moreno being World Series.
I mean, that's got a bit. That's a completely separate topic on why I didn't want to see the Diamondbacks win. But I'm glad the Texas won of the two of them because I don't want to see teams try and replicate what the Diamondbacks did.
And for Jays
so
fans,
lame.
another reason you guys can now look at it and say Rougned Odor is in the punching Jose Batista is the most famous thing Texas has done.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, they're still never going to stop bringing that up, though.
I mean,
I don't like that Texas fans get to have this moment.
no,
That's
I was just
not
going to
gonna
say
change.
on your point about not wanting Arizona to win, yes, they don't spend a ton of money, but it's not like they're not like Oakland or the Rays. Like
No.
they gave Greinke a lot of money, and I think that was like a 6-year deal or something. That was a lot of money.
Mhm.
They signed that Mad Bum deal. Like it didn't
They
work
gave-
out.
They
And
gave Carroll
that's terrible, but like
amount of money.
that was money.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying that Arizona doesn't spend money.
Longo, like no, I know.
This year's-
they're I'd say they're probably what lower end of the middle, probably high teens.
They are. Let me update this. It was done by 2024. Arizona 21st in baseball.
Right, so that's not far off. Like, yeah, it's not ideal, but like,
Mhm.
also this really wasn't their window. This isn't saying they're not gonna spend. This
This-
wasn't their window, and they kind of they backed themselves into it, and they made it work. Like
They are what if the 2022 Baltimore Orioles went on a run?
Yeah.
They're a year early.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
Well, and the other thing, like they went out at the deadline and they made moves, which Baltimore hasn't done.
Yeah.
Like they got Tommy Pham, which,
Mhm.
like him or not, he played a considerable role down the stretch.
He was
hit
huge
middle
in
of their
that World
lineup.
Series.
Paul Sewald.
I was gonna say Sewald. Like
Thanks,
look at Seattle.
Paul.
Seattle's selling in basically the exact same position Arizona was. I bet you when that trade was made, they probably had almost identical records.
They did that. Seattle did that.
I'm pretty sure
like,
Seattle
what?
was better at that point.
They did that shit with Graveman like 2 years in 2021.
Yeah.
Like both teams looked at their team at the deadline and went, "We aren't good enough to go all the way. We need to supplement this." And I think it was cool. Texas went out and got Chapman early. Like Chapman's obviously not a difference maker, I don't think anymore. But he still,
yeah.
but the way that bullpen was, he still made a difference for them. And what do we say? They were 2 games from not making the playoffs.
I think it was 2.
If
can
you
double
don't
check
pick
that, but I think
Chapman
it was
up,
2.
which Chapman was about a month before the deadline, right? If you don't pick Chapman up at that point, he at least pitched well for them. Like if you don't have him, maybe you don't win those 2 games and you're not in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like it's a conceivable option, right?
Yeah. No, you're right. And like I'm not disrespecting the Diamondbacks by any means, but like there are going to be teams that would have looked at that run and been like, well, they didn't have to spend money to do it. Why do we need to spend money to do it?
No, exactly. 100%.
And that's the only thing that I didn't want to see happen. It's great that they made it and it's a cool story, but I would rather see the Texas Rangers win in that situation because especially for the Jays, speaking from a personal side of things, I would like to see the Jays spend money.
I'm just gonna say, from a fan perspective, I think it's fun. That makes it fun too, though. Like they didn't spend money a ton, but
it's a cool story.
If you're a Brewers fan or you're I want to say A's and fucking whatever, like they're not realistic.
White Sox.
We know the Rays are there, but like the White Sox kind of spend money. They're just stupid. But anyways,
no,
sorry,
Brewers. They're one of the 4. They're one of 3 teams that have spent over $100 million on a contract.
Yeah, that's true. They don't give out much.
Andrew Benintendi is their highest paid player ever.
I'm just saying, look at the Brewers. Brewers fans going into next year can be like, what's stopping us and our roster from being the D-backs?
Pittsburgh Pirates.
That's another one.
It's
Pittsburgh.
Looking at the rankings,
Pittsburgh spent when they were
good,
relevant. They signed Burnett. Yeah. I think they signed Lariano. They definitely gave Kutch money at some point, didn't they?
I believe so. They had a bunch of just like mid-level guys that they're paying a little bit. I don't think they've ever been like the Oakland A's,
Yeah.
but they are currently the second lowest team in the majors.
Well, they do have just a bunch.
You know who's third and fourth, just ahead of the Oakland and Pittsburgh?
Cleveland.
No, they're
Really?
Tampa.
fifth. Baltimore is third. Tampa is fourth.
Baltimore makes more sense because they really haven't had any reason to spend money at this point. Like,
No.
that's not the way I should say. That's not the way I should phrase that. They definitely should be spending money to supplement this core.
They should be spending money now.
But they don't need to spend money on their core, I guess.
Yeah, I see your point, and I get what you're trying to say there. But yeah, they're just. I don't want them to continue being that team. Is kind of my point. It's like if they just saw the Arizona Diamondbacks go and win the World Series without having to spend money and having their core of guys get it done. I don't want to see the Royals be that team that just does that again instead of going to get a big name bat or an arm in the offseason and trying to help out this current group of guys that they have. Like I would rather see that for baseball's sake. But who knows? They're the Orioles. Is there
like I said, I don't think it was the best series ever, but I think if you look at the box scores, the games look a lot shittier than they actually were, I think. Like obviously
like even
game 2 was a blowout. I missed most of game 4, but like at least the D-backs came back. That ended up being a 4-run game. That's not crazy.
But it just felt out of hand the entire time. It just wasn't
again, I missed it.
Even game 5, like
that's what I was gonna say. Like
game 5 ended 5-0, but that was 1-0 going into the top.
It was close for 7
Gallen had a no-hitter.
Gallen had a no-hitter through 6.
He was perfect through like 4 or 5 too, wasn't he?
He had a walk in the 6th.
Yeah.
It just wasn't. I wasn't intrigued by any means. It just wasn't a great World Series for me.
It is cool to kind of get a light shone on some of those less guys you don't hear about. Like Christian Walker, he didn't have a great postseason, I don't believe. But like he's a dude, man. He's a 4-hitter and he's a middle of the order bat in pretty well any lineup in baseball, and he's a Gold Glover. Yeah,
like legitimate Gold Glove worthy defense.
Didn't he make 3 errors on one play?
Okay, well that's
not that I'm knocking him by any means, but like it's crazy just the things that had to go wrong for the Diamondbacks in that series to just like Christian Walker was garbage. Like he was great all year and then just could not find it in the postseason.
Well, same with Alec Thomas in game 5, which
Alec Thomas.
I'm much happier that game ended 5-0 than 5-3 or something, because that would have been.
Yeah. Well, did Alec Thomas have a homer in the World Series? I don't think so, right?
He didn't, but he did.
It's just the guy was raking for 3 rounds. Same with Moreno. Same with Lourdes to an extent. And then just the World Series came around and
Cattell wasn't the same either.
Cattell wasn't really. He kept the hitting streak going, but
like
it's just.
I think it's just like I get what you're saying. They're not the most exciting brand of baseball to watch. They're not going to beat you to death, but I think the speed and defense and like small ball type stuff is fun, and I think any team can win doing that. Like if you can run the bases well, take the extra base, steal, move the guy over, just play smart fundamental baseball, I think you can be successful.
Maybe. I don't love it. I don't think it's fun to watch personally, but it is possible that you can win ball games. I just don't know if it's a World Series winning game plan. Personally, I can be proven wrong, but I haven't seen it.
Like game 1 was pretty well right there for them. I think I fell asleep during game 3. But weren't there like a couple really bad calls that went against Arizona? Was that
Which
game?
One did Alfonso Marquez ump? He was so bad.
I think that was 3 because people were losing their minds.
Yeah, it was not great.
The fact that you give Alfonso Marquez a fucking World Series game is embarrassing. That's the one thing I didn't put on here that I wanted to talk about.
Because that was,
Why is it everywhere in the game you need to be good at your job all year to get to the final thing? But when it comes to umpires, they're just like, well, this is the team we have set up. Like, why don't you have to earn your position in the World Series as an umpire?
Do you know the other stipulation?
No.
If you umpire an LCS, you cannot umpire
the World Series. That's a joke.
Stupid.
That's a joke. I think the best crew should be doing both.
You should be held accountable. It doesn't even have to be a crew. Like,
no.
I get they probably work better together and
Mm.
whatnot. I don't really know how much that matters for umpires. You're not really helping each other out on that many plays or whatever. But like, just get the best guys.
There's
It's
no
the
reason not to.
playoffs. It's the like you don't. Why, if you were MLB, the Umpires Association, whoever the fuck, like, why do you want like mistakes
In the
to
biggest
be
moments
front
when
and center,
when some
right?
people
Like,
are watching.
I don't want automated strikes,
No,
like ever. I would hate it.
not
But
solely.
yes, agreed.
There's only one man
When
having
there's,
it.
when there's like such blatant issues, then that's what everyone's going to be clamoring for. If you've got the best umpires in the game doing the games, I don't know.
Then there's
There
no
was
issues.
something. There was something about it's not just like I forget the Twitter account that posts like the umpire scorecards and stuff.
Umpire
Like it's
auditors
not.
I think it is actually
or
Yeah.
umpire scorecards. There's two, but
That's not what they. That's not everything they base it on. Is like their skill, but apparently it was like how do they handle situations that arise and tensions and whatnot is factored into it. Which obviously that's important. You don't want an umpire with. You don't want the umpire with the quickest fuse.
you don't want them to make
doing
a
the
difference
plate
in
in
the game.
Game 7 of the World Series and throwing out Corey Seager because he's bitching about a ball strike call. Like, but I don't know. That's something I think MLB could do a lot better on.
Absolutely. I think it's embarrassing that they don't have the was it 6 umpires you get in the World Series because you get the two up the lines.
7.
7.
There's
3, 4, 5, 6. Where's the 7th?
He's in the booth or something, but they
Okay.
rotated. Like
Right.
there was there would be a different home plate umpire for every game.
Right. I don't understand why you wouldn't have the 7 best guys that you can have. Just doesn't make sense to me.
And the 14 best for the LCS.
Yeah.
According to Umpire Auditor, umpires missed 436 calls during the playoffs, including 27 strikeouts and 18 walks. They combined for a correct call rate of 92.47%, slightly below league average at 92.5. The average playoff umpire was ranked 49th of 92 umpires with a median of 51. So you had the middest umpires in the World Series in the playoffs, like in general.
I think those numbers definitely probably get skewed a little bit. Like early
real bottom guys.
Well,
there's also a lot of umpires early.
I'm saying early, like you got the wild card and the divisional rounds. There's a lot of games going on. There's a lot of series. Like you need a lot of umpires. So that I'm sure skews it a little bit, but yeah.
So I'm okay. I can just go back by games because this is World Series. Umpire Brian Knight, who was ranked 50, he was ranked 33rd out of 92, missed 10 calls in games in the World Series Game 5. He had a correct call rate of 92.4. David Rackley, who did Game 3, was ranked 68th of 92. He had a correct call rate of 89%. For context, last ranked Angel Hernandez called 90.3% of calls correctly. You had an ump that was worse than Angel Hernandez in the World Series.
It's bad. But this is the moment. Go for it.
I was gonna say, can we also I do want to say they probably have the toughest job in all of sports.
Oh, it's hard. Like, I don't expect 100%.
I'm saying like officials in sports. I don't think there's anything harder than umping the plate in baseball.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or doing basic but the plate, especially in baseball, like everything's bang bang. Like
to answer your earlier question about Game 3, who that ump was, that was the Alfonso Marquez game, who was ranked 77th of 92.
Yeah.
He stinks. He's bad at his job.
He had a correct call rate of 89.9. This was the 5th worst game of the playoffs.
Game
3 of the World Series.
Like 89.9, and that's the 5th worst. So there were considerably worse games than that.
There were 4 worse games in the playoffs. Like,
I don't mind if an ump has a bad game. That's fine. That is what it is. But I would rather you have a really good umpire over the course of the regular season, have a bad game, and have it just be an off day, as opposed to a guy that always does this. Alfonso Marquez is not a good umpire. He has not been a good umpire his entire career. There's no reason to have Alfonso Marquez umpiring World Series games. It just makes no sense.
It's also like, why? Like, I get it. The umpire union is supposedly like one of the strongest unions in sports. or one of the better labor unions altogether. But like, you're telling me there's not guys umping minor league baseball
That could do
or
the same thing,
independent
yeah.
league that could put up better than what'd you say? Angel was
89.
Angel was 90.3.
There's got to be guys in doing minor leagues that can put up better than a 90.3.
Okay,
I'm sorry, but like
so
You would think.
if we're going off of we need the 6 or 7 best guys, only one World Series umpire actually deserved to be there, according to Umpire Auditor. Because game 1, DJ Rayburn is ranked 75th of 92. Game 2, Quinn Walcott was the best umpire in baseball, according to Umpire Auditor. So
Nice.
that's Alfonso Marquez. Game 3 was 77th. David Rackley. Game 4 was 68th. Brian Knight, who was 33rd. And then if it got to game 6, it would have been Vic Carapazza, who was 60th. In game 7, if it went to Bill Miller, 53rd.
like I don't hate that guys in the 30s are there. Like that kind of
Yeah, but
it
like
is what it is. Like I'm sure the
70s?
percentage points between 30 to the top 10 guys probably isn't that much, but
like 70s.
I understand the point. And
Bad.
some of those, if you were telling me that the number one umpire, maybe he has the quickest fuse in baseball and you don't want him in the World Series or whatever, you know what I mean? And the guys in the 30s are a bit more experienced, know what they're doing, not going to let the moment get the best of them, that type of stuff like that. It is what it is. But yeah, I don't know. They got to do better.
Do umpires get? This might be a dumb question, but do they get paid to do postseason work? Like I know the players
so.
don't technically.
They're
only paid for the regular
players get
season.
like a stipend
Do
based
they?
on how many games they play. I
Is it
believe.
the same idea with the umpires?
Well, they get paid. I'm sure.
Okay, because that was my other thought. Because like maybe there's guys that just like they want to have an off season. They've been yelled at from April to what is it, October already, and they don't want to do more games than they have to. So there's a strong chance that has something to do with it. But
try the end of February.
yeah, you're right, because they do. I don't think you're getting yelled at too much in spring training though. Maybe not, but
JT Realmuto this year.
did he?
Remember he got tossed because of the whole.
He got tossed because he dropped the ball.
Oh yeah,
against the Jays.
Yeah. Shit. What was I just gonna say? I don't remember. Oh, who's the Canadian? Is it Stu Sherwater?
I want to say it's Stu Sherwater.
I think he's one of the better umps in the game right now, isn't he? Like, was it him that had the perfect game? Or was it somebody else?
No, I think
you remember that this year?
Else. I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember who it was. His name came up the other day too for the same reason.
Well, anyways, anything else we want to say on this? The fucking Adolis Garcia set the RBI record for a postseason
and didn't play the last 3 games.
Like 3 games.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That's nuts.
It's pretty good.
If I had told you to guess who had it beforehand, would you have got it right?
David Freese, right?
Yeah,
I might have got there eventually because David Freese was so nasty that one.
That's not where my mind's going though. Like,
no, he wouldn't have been my first guess by any
means. I think my first guess would have been Randy Rosarena or 2020 Corey Seager. Like both, but like those 2020s.
We would have went like further back. I probably would have just started guessing like
holes, like guys like that. Miggy.
Yeah. That's
fine, I would have probably landed on Freeze eventually because he was just otherworldly in that run.
Yeah, unconscious. But like that's I when I saw that I thought it was a little crazy. Like you said, I would have got there, just not.
Yeah, just not that quickly. Yeah. I saw a thing on TikTok I wanted to do, but I forgot to save it. It was basically like the most home runs by position. I was going to see if you guys could guess who they were.
In the playoffs or
just generally, just like in MLB history.
Season, MLB history.
Oh, MLB history? I think I saw that video, but
I'm sure you could just go on Baseball Reference and pull that up and we could guess that right now because that'd be fun.
I mean,
I remember almost all of them. I just can't remember. Actually, never mind. I got all of them.
Yeah.
You guys want to try it? Do you want to try it before we move on to the Jays?
I mean, I know. Are we considering?
We'll
go by position.
We're going around the field. Are we going back and forth? Guessing.
We'll go back and forth because then we can see who does better.
Konnor, you can have first guess.
We give him first. Okay.
First guess.
We'll start at first.
No, you should start behind the dish.
Okay, we'll start behind the dish.
Numbers, that's how it goes.
Okay.
Yogi Berra.
No.
Okay.
Oh fuck, I was gonna guess Yogi.
Yeah, like
Why can't I think of his name? Played for the Reds.
oh wait.
Uh,
I can't guess. I gotta wait for Nate. Fuck. I think I know who it
I'm
is.
not gonna Google it, but I can't fucking. It's not Piazza, is it?
Mike Piazza.
What?
Really?
Yeah.
Who's the Reds guy that I'm thinking of?
Joe Torre?
Johnny Bench.
No.
Or
Yes,
Johnny
Bench.
Okay.
Yeah.
So first base?
I have to take another look at first base because I believe I remember who it was, but that's the
I
only
think I
one.
got first base.
I mean, if we're counting him as a first baseman, I would assume it's Albert Pujols.
See,
Or
now
count
here's
Pujols?
the dilemma because
Like-
technically it's Pujols, but he didn't hit them all as first baseman.
Yeah, like
So I think in the video they didn't count him.
it's bullshit.
So I'm gonna go with not counting him for this one too,
That's bullshit.
because we did establish that it was as for the position.
Okay, all right. So that
so is
changes
that
all
your
my other
count?
answers. Yeah, that's my count.
Is
I
it
guess.
counts?
Like,
I'm
Pujols.
gonna go Big Mac.
Mark McGuire was the first
I'm
baseman.
so fucking stupid.
It's a tough one
I'm
because technically,
so
like you're
dumb.
not wrong, but like based on the
No.
parameters, you're
Honestly,
wrong,
I
which
was going.
sucks.
I wasn't even thinking Pujols. Like I would have gone Big Mac if I had first
The problem
guessed
is
there.
I completely forgot Mark McGuire was a fucking human being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Now, I think second base is gonna take you guys a little bit longer.
Okay. We each get a guess, and then you give us a like era.
yeah.
Okay.
Jesus. Okay.
I think you get 2 guesses each before I give it away, or before I give
Okay. I cannot think of second baseman.
Why did my head go Jeff Kent at first? And I'm like, no, that's not fucking it.
That's actually not a bad guess though.
Is it Jeff Kent?
It's Jeff Kent.
That's
Good.
unreal.
Yeah.
Good job, Konnor.
That's a pretty. I didn't think you were gonna pull that
Like
early.
I was
if
trying, I'm like
anything.
power hitting second baseman. I'm like going through it. Jeff Kent. Okay.
You know who's number 2? Shockingly,
I was gonna guess Alfonso Soriano.
Is it Alomar?
no, because Soriano played too much games in the outfield.
True.
It is Robinson Cano,
Okay, actually,
That makes sense.
number
that
2
kinda
all
makes
time.
sense. Okay.
Crazy.
What's the gap? Because I wonder if he didn't have the PED suspension and just like stopped
If he
being
didn't
completely
fall
relevant.
off,
If
so
we
Jeff
count his
Kent had.
Baseball United stats, can he pass it?
Shut up.
Yeah, I think he could actually. Jeff Kent had 377. Cano has 335.
Oh, he would have got it.
So he
For
if he
sure.
didn't
Would you
get
say
suspended,
377 and 335?
yeah, if he didn't get suspended and
That's one good
absolutely
season.
fall off a cliff.
That's one good season.
Okay, so 2-1. We're going to short. Nate's up.
Well, there's a guy who should be number 1, but he doesn't count.
He doesn't count because did he hit enough short the home runs at that position?
No, he didn't. So it's Cal.
It's Cal Ripken.
Okay, because you would have. Oh wait, is he third base then? No.
No.
Oh, I know who third base is.
Mm-hmm.
It's Mike Schmidt.
It is Mike Schmidt. 3-2.
That would have
Left
been my
field.
guess, too.
Nate.
Oh, it's fucking just give me. It's a fucking gimme. Wait, no.
Wasn't Barry a right fielder?
I'm
Did
not
he? I don't
giving
know.
any hits.
You tell us, Nate. Was he a right fielder?
Okay, I'm guessing Bonds because I don't want to fuck it up.
Bonds was in left field.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, wow. The fact that I was
gotta
going to
pull up
answer.
this.
Wait, there's like 3 people in my head for center field.
Yeah.
One
I've also
I
forgotten.
think
is
there's
like-
one.
is like very obvious, and
there's
I'm probably
one.
going to guess him.
Never
The
mind.
other one is like the other one's like potentially, but the other one, and then the other one was, I'm just gonna say it. The other one was Mike Trout in my head, but that's fucking
No.
it's Willie Mays.
It is Willie Mays in center field.
I was about to say, if you fucking told me no, I was like, I'm out to lunch.
The only one
What are we at 4-3
I
right
was
now?
thinking Hank, but I think
I
Hank
had,
kind
like-
of played all over. A bit,
I had
didn't
like
he?
Griffey, I had Trout in my head, and I had Willie Mays. Like,
I mean, Mick.
oh, also Mickey, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think right field, Nate wins.
So this is a fun one. Right field.
Okay, you saying that makes
Nate?
me not think it is who it is.
I don't know who you think it is.
I think it's like a very obvious one, but the way Brant said it is
It's Nate's
questioning-
pick, so you can pick whatever
go
you
ahead.
think it is.
Go ahead, Nate. I'm completely
George Herman Ruth.
Connor?
Fuck. See, now you're fucking because I don't know if he played this position like the
Mhm.
whole time that he hit these home runs.
Mhm.
Fuck it, is it Hank Aaron?
It's not Hank Aaron. Hank Aaron technically leads, but he
So
doesn't
I'm
lead
losing.
as a
I'm
right
losing on two
fielder.
technicalities here. Fuck
Yep.
Yeah, but that's honestly,
Yep.
I would have guessed him, but I knew he played kind of all over,
Yeah.
so that's why I didn't.
I feel like the God damn it. I feel
They
like
both have over 700 home runs, and they both didn't hit them all as right fielders, which is the problem. So it falls to one other man, Nate.
Who's the? Oh, both of those two.
Yeah.
That we just guessed.
Yeah, Aaron and Ruth both have 700.
I'm gonna punch myself in the head when I get this wrong.
Mm.
oh my God, I think I got it.
I fuck if I know.
Say a name.
Never heard of him.
Bobby Bonds.
Not Bobby Bonds.
Is it?
I know.
It's kind of a semi. Is it Sammy Sosa?
It is Sammy Sosa.
Oh, for fuck's
Connor with the clutch pick to tie it up down to the last position. Nate's
DH?
got the guess.
Oh,
DH.
this is fucking
I'm probably gonna go with Poppy.
It is Poppy.
Oh, see,
Made it way closer than it needed to be,
I'm
but
calling protest
That's
on
so
Albert
tough,
Pujols
Connor.
on these fucking bullshit.
Pujols
I'm
and
calling
Hank.
protest on Pujols, and I'm calling
That's such a
protest
tough
on
one.
fucking Sammy Sosa.
Tough.
You're
It's a good run,
fucking
gentlemen.
Oh, okay. That's
You can't protest when you won it.
or, like,
You didn't win.
I didn't win.
No,
so
but
I
he
can
won.
Well, he
protest
won
the
right
next.
field. You
right
can't
fielder.
protest
You
right
can't
field,
protest
right?
when
But
you
you
won
could
it.
maybe protest first if we didn't establish ahead of time.
I feel like I win because I had the most obscure poll of Jeff Kent.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Like,
If that was worth 2 points, then you would have had it.
Okay.
okay.
So
We can move on.
I want to know, is pitcher on that list?
I
'Cause
was
can't
gonna try
know.
and look that up.
Wait,
is it
Google that?
like? I mean, oh
Does it
wait,
have it on here?
It's gonna be Babe.
Oh,
no,
it-
because
I think-
I don't think he pitched.
you know
He
what?
didn't pitch and hit at the same.
If one of you guys can get this one, you can win the next 5 challenges that we do.
Is it Randy Johnson?
No, I'll give you both 5 guesses.
Okay.
It's not Babe.
It's not Babe. That's 1 each.
Are we counting like Negro leagues? Because that could be like.
I don't believe so.
Okay, well, that just
That's what
just tell me if he's black or not. Basically, that's what I'm saying.
I can tell you.
That's a big hint after the first guess. I'm
Can
Yeah,
tell you.
Sorry,
Go-
sorry.
hint
he
is
was
after second guess.
born- What's that?
Hint is after the second guess.
Yeah, don't
Fuck
tell.
off.
Sorry, I was kind of joking with that one.
Okay.
So you have a guess, Nate? Other than
I said Babe. You're up.
oh,
We're both at one.
I don't think it's like a fucking like current player. Like,
It's definitely not.
no, okay.
Has either of us heard of this player?
Probably not. That's why I'm giving you a lot of wins if you can figure
Shot
it
in the
out.
dark. Is it fucking like Carlos Zambrano? Or
It is
some
not.
shit?
You know.
You said we've never heard. Also, like, how is that the guy you go with?
I don't fucking
Over
know.
He's never heard of him.
D-Train?
I'm shooting till we get some
D-Train?
hints, man.
Zambrano hit a lot of homers. That is a good point.
I'm shooting
Yeah,
till we
but
get some hints.
D-Train and Mad Bomb.
Yeah.
I feel like
Well,
are both
I'm
ahead of him.
shooting until we get hints, Nate. Okay.
I'd be impressed if you guys get anyone from the top 2, 3, 4, 5.
Walter,
if I'm being
Walter
honest.
Johnson.
No. I was trying to see if he was in the top 5, but he's not.
Is it Christy Mathewson?
And it is not.
Okay.
The guy was born in 1908, if we're looking for any sort of hint.
Three Fingers McGee.
It's not Three Fingers McGee.
Wait, did Honus Wagner pitch?
No.
I used a left fielder, I believe, wasn't he?
I think it was a short.
Don't
Okay,
quote me
Britt.
on that.
I think. Do we get a hint?
I don't really know how many what to give you for hints here.
What's
He
his
played-
first name?
That's crazy. What's his first name start with?
No, just give us the first
his
name.
first
We've
name-
never heard of him.
You know what? If I give you his first
swear to
name, I
God,
still
it's-
don't think you'll get it. His first name is Wes.
Why is I'm very hockey? My first
Wes
guess is
McCauley.
Wes McCauley.
McCauley.
It is not Wes
We're
McCauley.
fighting. Fuck off. Like you shit, ref.
He's the worst.
So fucking bad.
You're
Wes
just-
Wes McDougal.
It's not Wes McDougal.
Wes
Wesley
Parsons.
Snipes.
So still not Wesley Snipes.
Who's Wes Parsons? Because that name was in my head. Why do I know
That's the
that?
guy that pitched for the Jays.
Jesus.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't him either.
Oh,
I'll give you. You both got one guess left.
Okay.
I'll give you the first initial of his last name.
Can you just give us his last name?
It starts with an F. He played in Cleveland, Boston, New York, Brooklyn, and what the fuck is
What?
BSN?
How many home runs is it?
38. Rounding out the top five is
Okay.
Bob Lemon, Red Ruffing, Earl Wilson, and Warren Spahn.
I could have got Warren Spahn.
I was thinking
Farabee.
maybe a
Couldn't
Michael
tell you
Wes
Landon.
Farabee or some shit.
It is not.
Wes Franklin.
It is Wes Farrell.
Fuck.
I feel
I
like,
was
why do
so close.
we were like both like close on the opposite ends of the last name.
Yeah, you both got Wes F. Good job. The things I gave you.
I had Farabee, he had Franklin. If you put Farabee and
Yeah.
Franklin together, it kind of sounds like Fairley.
It's If you crossbreed the two names, you might get this.
Crossbreed
Oh.
might get Fairly. That was
Good
bad.
try, gentlemen.
That was ass.
Can we go back to the World Series for half a second here?
I mean,
Yeah. Do you know who the active leader is? Sorry for pitchers.
Is Matt Bum still
It
active?
is Matt
No,
Bum.
it's
It's Matt Bum.
Zach Greinke.
Okay,
behind
fine.
him.
If we're not counting Matt Bum, then
I
Matt
don't
Bum's
think Matt
technically
Bum is
active.
technically
so
active,
He's
I guess.
technically a free agent.
Is
so
Greinke number 2 though?
I don't know. It just says the active leader. Doesn't say.
What's Mad Bum at?
Matt Bum's at 19.
Well, I mean, technically the active leader would be Shohei.
Oh. technically,
Like, how does that work? Because
it
when
would it
he
only
was
count?
Zach
originally-
Greinke has 9. He's not even close.
oh shit,
Would it count?
he
games
might
that
be the
he-
active leader behind Matt Bum.
Shohei.
If you go
Yeah.
if you go with the Shohei thing, would it have to count with games that he's pitched in?
I think it would only be the games he's pitched in.
When
But
he,
I don't think it does because he's on the lineup as a DH.
not always.
No,
When
he
he
does
first-
put, it does put
this is-
DH.
Is he?
No, it does. It's DH now. That's how he can stay in the game.
Oh, the first
but
few
when
years.
the first few years he had to come out of the game,
Right.
and he still, I think he hit those years. So that's what I'm wondering if that.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah. But anyways,
I'd like to
I
see
want,
how they count that.
I want to talk about the World Series quick again. Yeah, no, sorry. You got us on a homer tangent there. But yeah, just quick. The TV ratings, we also went back and forth on this, Brant, but
Mhm.
I get what you're saying, that it obviously wasn't one of the better World Series, and that
Mhm.
kind of shows through the ratings. But I've heard people saying that baseball's in a bad spot because of the ratings. Like, this is the best season in what, like a while. I don't know how many years it ended up being in ratings for the regular season. They're in the grand scheme of baseball fandom, these are kind of 2-0 teams.
Yeah.
They're like,
There's two
fan
teams
base-
in the one state,
fan
and the other one
base-wise-
is Arizona.
Yeah, fan base wise, it's just like, especially when it's West Coast teams and it's not the Dodgers.
Yeah.
No one's
It's
you
not
don't
as
have an East
exciting.
Coast team. Like, I don't know.
I
think
don't
everyone's making a
think-
big deal out of it, and like, I'm just like, who cares?
No,
Like,
I don't think the
people have
ratings
stuff
have
going on.
anything to do with baseball. I think baseball is in a great spot. I think if you look at the ratings of the entire season, you look at attendance, and you look at everything that had to do with the regular season, baseball is on its way up. However, I think the ratings do tell a big story about what this World Series has been in compared to previous World Series.
That's fair.
And I think this World Series just wasn't as good as some. Definitely nothing in recent memory that we've seen.
It was the number one watch thing on TV every night, other than, I think,
'Cause it
Monday
is the
Night
World
Football was
Series
the
still,
only
right?
thing that topped it.
Mhm.
But you look at the days they played games. Like, you start on a Friday and a Saturday,
Stupid time.
which are
Stupid time to do it.
and it's also 8 o'clock.
Mhm.
Most people, I'd say most younger people on a Friday and Saturday are not
Are drunk in
sitting
a
at
bar.
home. Yeah.
And if they
Watching-
but if they
watching
are at
baseball.
home,
No.
they're probably watching hockey that's on right now.
Well, and
You
I
know?
can say from my experience, I was in Ohio at a wedding, and I drove Friday night, so I caught the
Odds are you're doing something Friday or Saturday night.
And then you have Tuesday was Halloween. That's
Mhm.
another one that a lot of people are busy.
Mhm.
It's, I don't know.
It was a
It's just-
terrible time, and it didn't get the numbers. It just sucks. It is what it is. But I don't think it's a knock on baseball as a sport. I think baseball
No, I
is
think people are
clearly growing.
blowing that out of proportion, though, and I don't
Yeah.
get why.
That makes no sense to me, but it is what it is. Do you want to talk about the Blue Jays, gentlemen?
Do I have to?
Yes, we don't have a choice.
That's why we're on this podcast, Konnor.
Is it? We're a
You
baseball
have to.
podcast.
No. Well, if we were a baseball podcast, we'd have a
I think
different
you-
name.
I think you really need to reassess this.
No, I'm not reassessing this.
Hold
You
on.
jumped on a bandwagon. Like,
And I'm sticking on it.
I get it, but like, did you not watch baseball before 2015? Because there were some real bad times.
If
What if I
you're
didn't?
hurt by what the 2015 Toronto Blue or 2023 Toronto Blue Jays did, I just need you to think back from every year. I was born in 1996. From
Right,
1996 until 2014, there was nothing to cheer about with the Toronto Blue
Brand,
Jays.
you're saying this like I'm 15 years younger than you, man.
I'm not
Well,
saying
like,
you are. I'm saying look at those seasons. When were you born? You're in 2000 or 99?
91. Or not 91.
91.
2001.
Okay. Since 2001, from 2001 to 2014, there was nothing that happened for the Toronto Blue Jays. Nothing. Not a damn
Yeah,
good thing at all.
Here's the thing. They couldn't break my heart because they were shit.
They were just brutal. They didn't give
They
me a
were
reason to
bad.
cheer for the team.
It was-
At least
They-
now, as
No,
I
bad
don't
as
think they were
this-
shit. What was it? Fucking
You just push
12 or
money.
13 that we made the trade, and like
we were
the
supposed to
number
be
one
good, and we
World
sucked.
Series
That
odds.
was just as painful as this year.
That was
Probably worse.
Fucking worse.
Way worse.
You know what? You know what my most painful moment? And I've Googled to try and figure out the year, and I think I've got it.
Mhm.
Well, it could be 1 or 2 years. I think it was 2005.
Mm.
Roy Halladay wore a comebacker off the shin and broke his fucking shin.
Mm.
And he was literally the only reason to go to a Jays game. Especially like I'm 2 hours away from Toronto, so that's like
It's a lot.
there's-
You're not driving down
go
there to
see-
watch
go to see
Sean
Doc.
Markham.
I'm not making the trek down to see Brian Talent.
No.
Dustin McGowan.
I would make this trek down to see Dustin McGowan and those mutton chops, though.
Jesus. Just to rub them.
Bottom
Yeah.
line is as depressing as this season
No,
was, at
Brant.
least they were a playoff team.
Brant, I'm sticking on my. I'm
I
like.
understand.
But I don't understand.
But I threw the banner up for a reason here.
I'm
I
planting
don't know
my
how you.
flag.
I don't understand how you've jumped off of your Jays fandom after this. It
This is,
hasn't been
I don't know
good.
how this is the one.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It is the one. It is. It just is. It just is. Okay.
You'll be back.
How is this
No.
more painful? Like,
You'll be back.
This is more painful
This
than
is-
21.
I was gonna say
And
this is more
22.
painful than
21.
21 because we thought 21 we were going somewhere.
Okay.
but like,
Do you
no,
want to
no,
know?
no, 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 no,
One
shut-
hurt.
Give me a second. 21 hurt because we could have. That was the Braves, right? We could have very easily played the Braves in the World Series.
Oh yeah.
Very easily.
Yeah.
Like we
Yeah.
were one of the hottest and best
Yep.
teams in baseball.
Yep.
22 hurt because we had Manoah go out and shit the bed, and then we had a fucking 11-1 lead
A
or
Maple
some
Leaf
shit.
flag loss.
And
Mm-hmm.
I
Bro,
was
you're
more
a
hurt by
Leaf
21.
fan.
I was more hurt by 21 than this year.
How
Yeah,
are you a Leaf fan that's
Like-
still sticking it out through this dog shit? But after 2 bad years, you're leaving the Blue Jays?
I don't get it. I don't get it, Connor.
The Leafs are the Leafs were see the Leafs are like one of just a long line of reasons why I'm not a Jays fan anymore. Just let me.
You
Let
can't
me-
put the two
So
together.
you're not a Jays
No, I-
fan because you were a Leafs fan.
No, let me explain this. Okay, 21 hurt, but I was cool because things happen.
Mm.
22 after that shit, I was like, okay, we're fucking teetering here, folks.
Mhm.
We're teetering, and then this team decided to be whatever the fuck that was for 6 months of my life, and end that way.
I think it's been 2 years of this because I don't think 21 we were actually supposed to.
No,
To
21 was kind of like a do something, please.
Like we were
now.
coming off of that playoff appearance, but we shouldn't have been in the playoffs. And then it was kind of like, let's see what this team is. But then Semyon had an MVP caliber season, and Vlad had
Right.
an MVP caliber season,
And Ray
and
had a
Robbie
standout
Ray
season.
was
And you called up Manoah and he diced and
Yeah. So like that was I think that changed things, but it wasn't like there was no expectations in that year. Last year there was expectations and it hurt. This year there was more expectations, I think, and it still hurt. But I don't think like that's 2 years. There's a lot of teams that are going through Texas, dude. Texas went to the World Series twice in a row and didn't do it.
Yeah, but
Like
you know what they also
that's
did?
way more painful.
they were one strike away twice.
Twice.
They lost 100 games 2 years ago.
See, but you know what they did?
They stuck through it, and they're still there with their team that just won it. My point being is if you would stick with this team, there's this if you have to go through this pain to
Brant,
reach the
I thought
exhilaration
the
on the other
podcast-
side.
I thought this point of this whole podcast was to have like debate.
No,
This is what I'm doing. We're
not
having
debating.
like
we're not having
No,
a debate here.
we're not having a debate.
It's
You-
2 against 1. There's no debate.
Konnor.
no.
Konnor,
This is
how many
like-
bandwagons have you jumped off of and onto this season?
First off, I have put this out for the only one I have jumped on was the Texas Rangers.
This season.
The White
I
Sox.
guess technically the
was
White
last
Sox
season.
was last season, but it like
Yes.
And also, I have
was
people
there.
over there. I put this out on Twitter. I have people over there that I fuck with, that I mess
In
with.
Chicago, that's fine. But you
Yeah,
met them
like
from
I want
last year's
them-
jumping
I
of the bandwagon.
I want them to do well.
There's no way there's anyone in Texas that you like.
I mean, shit. I got people.
Who?
Who?
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, team
Marcus
the players
Stroman.
on the team don't count.
I
oh
have
yeah,
family down there.
I forgot you're buddies with them.
Yeah. Corey's
Yeah.
my guy, bro. Like
Yeah,
that
you
thing that he
guys are
said
going
at
to
Good old
dinner
Corey.
the
next
thing that
week,
he said
right?
at the parade about I guess we'll never know. I gave that to him.
I
I said,
guess
Corey, how
we'll
about
never know.
like do that little thing?
Shout
That'd
out
be
Corey
great.
Seager for that one too. That was great. I do like.
Dog.
I mean, there's some guys on the team you can like. That's fine.
Dude,
But to
I'm,
call yourself a
Brant.
Texas fan,
Brant, I'm planting my flag in this statement.
That how are you on this podcast? You literally just said, why are we talking about the Blue? Do we have to talk about the Blue Jays? Like, why do you want to be on this podcast? The point of this is to talk about the Blue Jays
treat this-
because we are Blue Jays fans.
I'm treating this like a job now, man.
Then why did you just say, why do we have to talk about the Blue Jays?
That was more so of a joke. I didn't think it would divulge into a fifth intervention.
I think it's only 4th, isn't it?
Man, when
many
you've
times have I said this banner
when
up?
you've jumped the bandwagon this many times, like,
We
and
need a
I
different
give you more
intervention
credit.
sign.
I give you more credit if it was like earlier in the year, but it was literally after the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's
that's
not like
the wild card.
it's not like we didn't make the playoffs at all. Like that's like, you know what, that's painful. Like given the expectations
Did
of
we
this team,
though? Did we really? Did they really? Not we.
They-
Fuck am I
they-
saying we for? Did they really?
they got there. We didn't go well. But there's things to build off of,
We could've-
including arguably the best rotation in baseball.
Yeah, but you know what it got you?
Best pitching
Nothing, 'cause
staff
we
in
couldn't hit.
baseball.
Got you fucking
Best
nothing.
pitching staff in baseball.
Got you jack
I don't think that's
and
arguable.
ass.
Sure,
Like,
but there's always next year.
all right, go to.
We're coming back
fucking
into it
move
with
on.
the same
Get
one.
Get your friend. Wait. Oh, I was about to say get your friends. That's how I met your mother.
Very different shows.
Yeah, that's.
Very same shows. Very
Sorry,
different.
I
That's
saw the.
You said some dumb stuff on this episode, and that was the worst thing you said.
I'm sorry. I looked at the left side
Hey,
of your
that's
screen
Joey
and
on
I'm
the
like,
right. Is that
yeah,
Joey?
but is it Joey from Friends?
No, this right here?
That's Neil Patrick Harris. I
Yeah.
know that.
This is
Who are you talking about then? I was
The
kidding.
guy in the red.
Jason Siegel.
You know, fucking dude. When I tell you I have seen a combined 5 episodes of How I Met Your Mother and Friends,
Go watch the whole series.
How does Jason Siegel look? I don't even know Joey Tribbiani's actor name.
Matt
he
LeBlanc.
looks like a motherfucker that'd be in
Matt
Friends, but then I
LeBlanc.
realized Neil Patrick Harris was there, and that's How I Met Your Mother.
Right.
So, like,
I guess does Lily look like Monica then?
shut up, Nate. You're all right. Move the fuck on.
Ross and Ted?
We're taking down the banner. Konnor, we'll get you back.
No, you won't.
We'll get you back. Don't you
Yeah,
worry.
hey, and okay, fine.
There's just nothing to bring you back in right now. But when the Jays go,
Eddie Rogers, you got one. If you get 2 people, if you get 2 fucking people, that we can. This is kind of a segue into our next thing. If you get 2 people, I might be back. Might be.
okay.
What happens if Texas goes on like a 10-game losing streak next summer and the Jays are doing well?
Oh, we'll dog it out because I always have the World Series to go back on.
It blows my mind.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. What am I looking for? Order generator, right?
Yeah.
Wait, I don't even think
I
we've
think-
actually mentioned what we're doing here.
No.
This is a very top heavy draft.
Probably.
You
That's okay.
you really want the 1 or 2 pick in this draft.
Do you don't really?
Yes. Brant.
Yes. We are doing a draft of Blue Jays free agent targets that we think they should try and pick up.
Mhm.
We agreed 5 rounds, I think.
5
5
rounds.
rounds. There's Again,
Only free agents.
Only free agents. We also agreed on there's no limit to how many resigns, quote
Mhm.
unquote, technically. Okay.
Everyone that they didn't re-sign is technically a free agent. So,
I mean, this could easily backfire.
you know what we didn't talk
my
about
gosh.
too? Whit
Connor.
Merrifield's gone.
Is this sorted by war? Yes, he is. That's great.
Not much to talk
This-
about, but
I think
What
it's
is this sorted by?
I don't know.
guys, I'm going to randomize this one time and one time only. And it's gonna
10-4.
come out. Nate, Konnor, me.
Oh, geez.
Snake draft, obviously.
I don't necessarily. Okay, the second pick's decent.
Snake draft.
Oh, no, it's salary. Gotcha. Yeah.
Snakes.
Yep.
Okay.
I think there's a very obvious 1-1. I don't know how realistic it is, but I think it should be realistic.
It's a semi-obvious 1-2, I believe.
Yes. I'm obviously going with Shohei Ohtani. Again,
Explain
I
to
don't
me
know how
your
realistic
reasoning.
it is, but if you are the Blue Jays, you have to really seriously think about this, in my opinion. Like, you are your own broadcasting. Like Rogers owns the Jays is more what I'm saying.
Mhm.
You've got the money.
Mhm.
You would make so much money just having him here.
Mhm.
Like, you get all Japan viewership basically. Like I think it's just crazy.
I will happily drive the Otani to Toronto train with you because there is no reason to not throw any bit of money you have at this man.
And I think I heard it was Passon maybe or Rosenthal said they'd heard that Otani's potentially interested in adding a third team to his or a third country to his fandom.
Perfect.
So
I don't know if it was legit. I didn't look into it, but apparently Bob Nightingale had an article that had the Blue Jays as one of the teams interested. I don't know. It should be a thing. There's no reason because business wise it makes sense. Baseball wise it makes sense. Just every part of it makes sense. Even for the majors it makes sense because you're growing it in another country now. You have the biggest star in baseball coming to Canada to grow baseball here, which I think is perfect for the league. But
well, and I forget who said it, but it's kind of an out there take. But you also kind of look at the generation of Japanese kids nowadays watching baseball, growing up, idolizing Otani, who maybe one of those kids comes over to the majors someday.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, Otani was a Blue Jay. Maybe I want to go to the Blue Jays. Look at that kind of seems like what happened with Ichiro in Seattle. Like he was like bigger than life. And that's like a lot of the Japanese players that came over seem to want to go there.
Exactly.
Not to mention the fact that you were going to make so much in marketing and advertising and jersey sales and everything. And like
literally
not Jays fans are going to buy jerseys,
everyone.
Otani jerseys. That's what I mean. Everyone's going to buy them.
Yes.
You're going to get so much more revenue. Like if you're a baseball fan and you have the opportunity to say go on one road trip a year,
you go see Otani.
Right? That's what I would do. If you can,
especially if you're going to another
to
country in the middle of the summer where it's actually kind of nice here. Like it's not the tundra in the middle of the summer.
I think for him too, like if we're willing to pony up the money, it's a very multicultural city. I think you've seen Ryu and Kikuchi. Who was the reliever a couple years ago that we signed?
Shun Yamaguchi.
Yeah. Like
didn't work out.
We've had guys come here and they seem to really love the city and the multicultural aspect of it. So I think I rambled a little bit, but that's
you're right. Yeah,
it's fair. It's
I think all that
there's easy selling points to bring in someone like Shohei Ohtani. I think if you can get him into the city to take a look, I think you can sell the city of Toronto in the middle of the summer.
Yeah, for sure.
Konnor.
Okay, now the obvious 1-2 is a man that could play. One comeback player of the year. Is could potentially be seen as a slight risk given the fact that he's had one good year in his last 4. Plays the outfield at a Gold Glove level. Can probably play all 3 positions in the outfield. Also plays first base pretty well.
What's his arm like? Just curious. I genuinely don't know.
The guy that I'm talking about?
Yes.
very good, is from what
Is
I
it?
remember.
I don't.
Okay, I just didn't know if he could play right if he had the arm for right field.
He has the arm for right field. He played
He
it.
played it in LA, didn't he?
He played it in his MVP season. I am talking about one Cody Bellinger.
I already wrote it down on.
He is. Yeah, it's very obvious. He is essentially what Blue Jays fans wanted and expected the growth at Dalton Varsho. Cody Bellinger's that already.
Mhm.
Like
He's also a target that we looked at last year. Like it's not.
he's also a guy that they looked at last year, and it's another thing that he again, if shit goes sideways, like it kind of did with Dalton Varsho,
Mhm.
you still get good, decent power, and you still get really good glove. Like,
everything you said is right. I have nothing against that. That's the easiest second pick of all time. I think he's a fit in the outfield. He's the 86th percentile in arm strength, Nate. To answer your question,
he also runs a bit too, right?
Yeah, he's pretty good.
He's got some wheels.
He's 75th percentile in sprint speed.
And
good defense in the outfield. Good defense at first.
26, 27. I feel like
he's another one that's like he can give you elite defense in center field, and he's also like kind of a weird combo because you don't think of a center fielder also being a first baseman, but he also gives you elite.
Good at
first. He turns 29 next July. So
there's versatility there. The bat is probably still there. He showed it last year. It's a phenomenal pickup.
Finished last year in 500 at bats, got 307, 356, 525 slugging, 881 OPS, 26 home runs, 97 RBI.
Sure.
I will say I like him a lot. He does scare me a bit more.
You never know. He's going to get a lot of money.
He seems like he figured something out this year, but it is scary because he was basically non-existent in LA for a couple of years.
Yeah.
So
the risk is there, but
that doesn't happen. But yeah,
I mean, see, like even his bad the year before he went to Chicago is kind of Dalton Varsho's year this year.
He also started that year well, I think, or he didn't start well and he figured it out after.
In 2020, in 2022, which was his last year with the Dodgers, he batted 210, 265 on base, 389 slugging, and he had 19 home runs and 70 RBI. Like
in a pretty stacked lineup, but
and he was playing Gold Glove center field.
Yeah, that's the other thing. He will still give you the defense at first and the outfield. That's not a bad piece. I like it. Mine. Speaking of risk, obviously the need for this team is power, and that is where a lot of my picks are going to come from today. My first is probably the biggest risk pick, but it's one I would love to see is Rhys Hoskins. I think you bring in Rhys Hoskins. He can play first. He can play DH. You can mess around and put him in the outfield. I think as much as the outfield defense is important.
Sorry to cut you off, Brent.
No, go for it.
Has he played the outfield recently?
I don't know.
I don't think he did.
I don't think he has.
Coming off an injury, I don't think they want him sticking
probably
near the outfield.
But if Kyle Schwarber can play the outfield for a team that almost made the World Series, I'm pretty sure you can throw Rhys Hoskins out there. It's really not.
He can take Brandon Belt's role anyways.
Yeah. That's the other thing too, is if he comes in and he's the next Brandon Belt, you're just going to come in and DH and play the odd first base, but he's probably a 35 homer guy. I don't really know what Rhys did the last season.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I think 35 is a safe bet on Rhys Hoskins, and I think that is the biggest need in your lineup right now.
He's a guy that you can go and just slot right in your 4-hole, and he should automatically make Vlad better because Vlad's got protection.
Yep.
Okay.
Easy pick. My next pick, also sticking with the theme of power, I'm going Jock Peters.
Oh, not who I thought you were going.
No.
It's not who I thought you were going.
Interesting.
Jock Peterson, decent outfielder, nothing special, but he's going to do what George Springer does anyways. It doesn't really matter. But he's got the pop. He's a left-handed bat with pop. We don't have left-handed bats with pop unless I can't. Varsho, I guess.
Varsho.
Outside of that, I love Kevin Biggio to death, but he's not considered a left-handed bat with pop. And we are losing. I can't see us bringing back Belt. I can't see us bringing back Kiermaier. So you're losing two lefty bats. You might as well replace one of them.
You got the potential for internal growth with Barger. Potentially, he's a lefty, I believe.
Yeah,
right? So
But in terms of major league talent today,
yes,
we're back down to having no lefties, and this is one that you can bring in and you can hit again 30 to 35 homers. He's gonna fill that hole that you need. That's where I'm at.
Okay. And for my next pick, sticking with who I thought Brant was going to take, Jorge Soler.
Soler's a good one too.
Fucking granted, he's better than Kyle Schwarber in the outfield. Not saying much, but you could stick him there. But he has 40 home run pop. And in Toronto, he hit 36 in Miami. Like that fucking pitcher's paradise. Like
if he comes here, he's your primary DH and he's playing maybe 30 games in the outfield. Am I wrong? Like that's kind of what I see.
He played 30 games in the outfield this year.
It depends on who you build around him, but yeah, that's
like but you are not bringing him in to be an outfielder.
Probably no, he is your.
I really hope you are not.
Like he'll.
The one thing.
In the outfield.
Sorry, Connor. The one thing with signing any of these not great defensively guys is you have arguably the best center fielder in baseball beside him in Dalton Varsho.
Yeah.
So sure. it kind of helps the fact that he's not very good, but he will be covered.
I don't love signing. I guess both these guys are probably going to be like 1 year deals or whatever.
I would
short-term deals.
2 years, but with a player option kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't love clogging your DH spot up at this point. Like I know a lot of teams are kind of shying away from it, but you like Vladdy needs DH days. Like Springer's getting a year older. That's still a big contract. You want him to be productive. He's going to need.
Very concerned about George Springer going forward too, given what he did this year.
His OPS has dropped 200 points in the last 2 years. So it's not great.
Yeah. No, but I mean, you can't argue with the power of Jorge Soler. No. It just makes sense, given the lack of power on this team last year. You have to do something with it. It's worth a risk. Nate,
I think I'm going to go with Justin Turner here. I think I love Justin Turner. He's been one of my favorite players since he's been with the Dodgers pretty well. And
I wanted the Jays to trade for him, if I remember correctly.
I thought he would have been.
He was trying to get Turner for a while.
I wanted Turner when he was a free agent
offseason?
before he signed that big deal in LA.
Back when he was good.
Yeah. He had a hell of a year this year though. What I like most about him, I think you probably get him on a 2-year deal, 1-year deal, give him some decent money. You can throw him over at third base. He didn't play there much this year, obviously, with Devers. You can also play a bit of second. He did that this year and first. He's not going to be great, but he's serviceable. And you're not clogging it up for your Arelvis, your Barger, your Palmajani. Like you save those spots, and he, like worst case, he DHs. If one of those guys shines and comes up, like it's not like you brought Matt Chapman back and you've signed him to a 5-year, $100 million deal or something. You know what I mean? Like you've got that open, and you could let the kids in if they make some noise.
Yeah, he's not going to be there long term to take a spot, and you can throw him on the bench if you have to. I don't hate it.
So my second pick, I got a couple here. I'm gonna go Josh Hader.
Fuck you.
I think you're losing.
Hicks.
What's his name? Hicks.
Yeah.
He kind of fills that same role. He's a lefty, which is nice.
Yeah, and it's a good lefty.
I don't know why, but from what I've heard, like it seems like they're not huge on Romano closing. Maybe like there's some question marks. It sounds like reporters around the team. But anyways, you bring in a guy who is basically Jordan Hicks from the left side, throws gas, strikes guys out more than Hicks, I believe, and he's been dominant for his entire career, and
except for like a little bit of last year.
He early last year
fell apart early. I think
I thought it was 2 years ago.
Was it 2 years ago
when he first got to the Padres in 21.
Okay.
But anyways, like you had the best bullpen in baseball last year, arguably. I think if you add him to Romano and the other guys we got at the back of the pen, that you're real shutdown pen.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like it. Do you have the conversation with Josh Hader about throwing multiple innings?
Well, now that he's paid.
I think the thing was like they told him in arbitration, we don't value that. We value saves. If I'm him, fuck you. You're gonna, but he's out of arbitration now. I think.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a dickhead and is just like wouldn't do it. I think
I haven't heard a lot of good things about Josh Hader, the person, but
art
but,
from the artist.
yeah. Yeah. It'd be fun. I don't disagree with the pick. I think he's a guy you definitely should look at if you're looking for bullpen help. He's a fucking clear back end of the bullpen guy.
Yeah.
Okay, I think.
Konnor, what you got?
All right. Now two of my next three picks, I think, is one of those hear me out type of things.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to Jorge Soler.
Sorry, we are at the point of the draft where you
yes, I do fall
start
off
to fall off
cliff
the
usually.
cliff. So
Why are you taking a hear me out with your
we
third
are
pick?
on pick three.
There's still very good options out
No,
there.
but I'm going. Is this just who you dream or realistic? Because there's a couple guys on here
Up
that I'm
to
like,
you.
this is not very realistic.
It's however you want to do it,
No.
man.
I think it's what makes sense.
Aw.
Like, I think everyone we've picked so far has made sense. Like, maybe it's not realistic that they do it, but it makes sense and it fills a void in this lineup.
If you can
so
justify your picks, then
yeah,
you go
okay.
ahead.
So my third one is a guy who is he granted he did DH a lot this year, but hear me out.
Okay,
Mitch Garver.
Yeah,
Mitch
I'm on
Garver's
board.
a
I don't
free
think that's a
Mitch
hear me
Garver
out
is a free
thing
agent
at all.
He's a catcher DH, and if it kind of deads the Varsho catching thing because you're probably
I think that's already dead.
It's already dead, but it much like the whole Gabriel Moreno talk, it buries it further. Like,
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
If you do that, and it's not just a 1-year deal, do you entertain the option of trying to move Kirk and seeing if there's something out there?
If you I don't personally no, because I don't think I trust Garver and Jansen to catch.
I think that's fair.
You don't have to necessarily. You can.
I think if someone came to you with an offer that made sense for Kirk, I'm in.
If the idea, if you entertain the idea of trading Alejandro Kirk or Danny Jansen, even for being honest.
I don't think that's a hear me out though, Konnor. I honestly really like that, and it gives you the option of a third catcher.
It's not a hear me out. I think my last pick though will be a for sure hear me out for the team.
No, given what he just did in the postseason, it's definitely not a hear me out moment because
he had
that pop is real.
Didn't he almost have a 1 dot on the year? I know he didn't have tons of bats. He
870.
was hurt or something, but
would
870 not lead the Blue Jays?
It would. He had 19 home runs and 50 RBIs with an 870. He had a 370 on base. So
fantastic.
I think you're fucked for thinking that was a hear me out.
No, because I went with.
Also, can we just talk about your
weird position
here for a second? Because you're taking the 4 stick off.
This is
no.
This is
he's taking the Texas gear off for a second.
Yeah,
He's like, hey, we just bring the Texas guys to Toronto, and I can cheer for Toronto.
Fine, we are a.
Crazy idea. Fine. Let's just trade our roster for theirs.
Hey man, I mean
we're good.
But on a real note, this is for the Jays. I think it is very fucking smart for the Jays to pick up Mitch Garver.
You're right.
Irrespective of my fandom for the Texas Rangers.
No, you're right. That makes a lot of sense.
Do I want Mitch Garver to leave the Texas Rangers?
Yes.
No, but
okay.
But based on the fact that who are the two catchers? Are they both disgusting? But they both have had injury issues. Like Kirk, not as much, but not compared to Jano. But I think it was 2 years ago, he was hurt a bit. You're going to need a third catcher at some point, and
we don't
fucking Mitch Garver versus Tyler Heineman is considerably a better option.
Don't disrespect Tyler Heineman like that.
Okay, Brent, you're up.
Yep, Brent, go ahead. Hear me out. Matt Chapman.
No, I don't fucking want anything to do with Matt Chapman. I forgot Matt Chapman was a free agent. I don't want to be this guy.
Oh no.
No, I can't. I'm gonna mess around a little bit. There's some previous history with the man.
No,
I think he's going to be looking for a 1-year deal because this season wasn't his best. I think you go at Teoscar Hernandez and see what he can do.
That is not who I thought you were talking about. Okay.
No. I'm also no.
That's not who I thought you were talking about.
No, you were thinking.
And then you said 1-year deal, and I'm like, okay.
No, I'm not going on the mound. I told you I don't have pitchers.
I have
one,
maybe.
And then I flip it
Who
around.
were you thinking that had previous Stroh?
Yeah,
Stroh.
Okay.
I knew exactly who he was thinking.
I didn't.
Yeah, but Teoscar Hernandez.
Yeah.
Now I'm
He's a
kind of
fit. Honestly, I would say just quick. I think he's more serviceable. And he's not just a DH compared to like
no,
Jock
exactly.
or Soler. I think he can.
Yes,
He can play the outfield a
that
little
is
bit.
very fair.
He still has 35 to 40 homer potential. And that's been my whole list so far is guys that are going to give you 30 to 40. That's what I want on this year's team is three new guys that can bring you 30 to 40 homers is what you're probably looking for in the offseason because you're going to have 3 spots that open up and you need home run power. And I don't think you're getting it from the guys that were on the team last year.
Yeah. And even to be fair to Teoscar, this was his worst season since like 2019. Still had 26 home runs and 93 RBI.
Yeah.
Like
it's not a great season by his standards, but it's still I take that. If you add 26 homers to last year's roster, like
you add 93 RBIs to that team,
yeah,
they win the division.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know, man. It's a tough one. I'm really trying to take an infielder, but there's fucking nobody on this list.
That's why I think Turner makes a lot of sense.
Turner makes the most sense of all.
There's not much.
Like I don't hate Kike Hernandez, but I can't do it. I'm just gonna mess around and take a man we all know and love because I think we're gonna need competition for the 5th spot.
Oh, that's not okay.
No, you're good. I think with what he's done in Toronto and what he's probably going to be looking for in the offseason, I can see you giving Hyunjin Ryu another chance.
That's fair.
And I don't mind it if it's like a 1 year, even $10 million. If you're giving him,
I do 1 for 10 for Ryu.
Throw it at him. He can be your 5 guy. If Alek Manoah doesn't work out, he can be your long man. If Alek Manoah somehow comes back to what he was,
I don't know if he's a pen guy.
Maybe
That's
not.
the part I don't like.
He can be your 5th guy if Kikuchi's miracle season was just a flash in the pan and he needs to go to the bullpen. I just think it gives you some flexibility there. And he likes it here. We like having him. I can't see why it wouldn't make sense. I didn't want to go with him this high up, but I think I like it. Konnor.
Okay. Shit. I'm not taking my hear me out one right now. I'm not.
Okay.
I can't do that.
Honestly, I have so many guys I want to take that I'm not gonna be able to do them all.
Yeah, like no.
What do you think you have to pay Javi Baez?
Shut up.
Pardon?
Is it like
we didn't hear that. Nate,
is it like if you give him like $3 million?
Javier Baez.
Mm-hmm.
Where
first off,
fuck do you think he's a free agent?
He opted out.
6-year deal.
Did he?
Mm-hmm. I'm looking at it right here. It says opt out, $25 million.
It says opt out. It didn't say he opted out.
Opted out. That's a possibility.
I assume this whole list was people
opt out.
Okay. Well, I assume this list was.
But he's not fucking opting out of $25 million. He wouldn't get 10.
Yeah, you're right. Let's go.
Okay. This next pick, kind of sort of similar to the theme that I have so far. He's a man that as of like an hour ago got his club option declined. He's a left-handed outfielder. He's kind of had some heroics in the postseason in his history. Played on a team that lineup fucked. Eddie Rosario.
Yeah.
Like shit. It's a decent. He's an okay outfielder. He's not great. Like he's better than Soler. I think he's better than Peterson in the outfield. Again, not saying much. And on a quote unquote okay year, he was at 100 OPS plus. He still had 21 home runs and 74 RBI. He had a 305 on base and a 450 slugging.
I don't hate it.
Like
I wouldn't say he's the best option around, but I don't hate the idea. I think we've taken all the other best options. So
yes. Yes.
Sure.
Eddie Rosario.
Sure.
There was one guy I was looking at, but I didn't know if he opted out yet. So
I just assumed if they're on here, they had already opted out. That's why I thought.
No, I don't believe so.
It has to say UFA because that's why like Bellinger's UFA.
Well, like some of them are like club, but
yeah, they like at
didn't
club.
they didn't.
It's not fully updated yet. I think it's updated as of yesterday.
Okay.
That's why Eddie Rosario still says club on the.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, Eddie Rosario.
Got it.
Nate, your
Oh, I'm
your
torn
last two?
between 3 guys here, so I don't know what to do.
Any infielders?
An infielder, an outfielder, and a pitcher. How about you guys tell me which 2 to pick?
I don't see an infielder on this list.
Yeah, don't go.
I gotta be
infielder.
honest.
Don't go
I
infielder
do.
because someone
I
that I
think
have.
infielder makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
If it's who I think it is, fuck you. Take the
Is it
outfielder or the
Isaiah
pitcher.
Kiner
What
Falefa?
what division did he end the year in?
It was in the American League. I'll say that.
No, different infielder.
Okay.
Is it your boy? I can't remember his name, but the one you always want us to go get.
Are you talking about Beer Brand or Nate?
I always
Nate.
wanted this offseason or
Anderson.
Oh, yeah. Okay, if it's who I think.
Tim Anderson?
No, the other
You- you
Anderson.
just
Oh,
say-
Brian? No.
That's
Fuck
the
off.
one.
No.
Also,
I
wouldn't
thought
hate
you were
Tim
going.
Anderson. Okay,
I
since we
thought-
talked about it, I'm going the infielder here.
Okay.
I think Ahmed Rosario would be a very interesting case. You could slot him into a platoon. Holy fuck, I can't spell.
A platoon.
A platypus.
A platoon.
Well, I stopped it before I said platoon. I think you could slot him into a platoon at second, and he would be fine. He brings a lot of speed, good base running. I believe he is a decent defender, if I'm not wrong. He didn't have a great year last year, but he mashes lefties, and yeah, I don't know. I think that could be a good platoon with Biggio.
A good
Second.
platoon.
He could be a good platoon.
Oh, hi guys.
I think he can play the
Platoon.
outfield too. I think he can play the outfield too. We know the Jays love their versatility, so
Oh, that's not.
and there's not, like we just said, there's not really many options out there for infielders. So
I'm going to call it a platoon for the rest of the time that we podcast.
Young platoon.
you guys fucking suck. Just so you know.
I hope you know, like the
I
way
don't
that
know
the
what
way
you
that
said
we-
after
the way that
that, to be honest.
the way that I'm saying platoon is spelled is like PLAHH like
Platoon.
TWOON like platoon. All right, Nate, who's your second?
I don't even know the
Oh,
rest of his
geez.
reasoning because all I got stuck up on was platoon. But
Okay, I
I'm
got
sure
2.
You had a good idea.
Even
I
you
got-
fucking saying two.
What?
Bro, you said two. You said two, and all I heard in my head was two.
I got 2. If the one isn't mentioned, I might mention him at the end, but I'm gonna bring the other guy up because I know Brant's gonna lose his mind on this. I think it's gonna be
is
very
this the
funny.
one?
Yeah. Noted no-hitter thrower this year.
Oh, I knew it was coming. I don't know why I didn't guess this the other day.
Wait,
I think Michael Lorenzen would be an interesting fit. To
Okay.
hear me out. Hear me out.
All-Star
hear me
Michael
out.
Lorenzen.
You bring him in as a competition for the 5 spot, and he is a guy that can be your raw stripling and swing to the bullpen and be a long man. I think in that fit, I think it makes a lot more sense than Ryu. I think they got to be planning that Tiedemann is going to make some noise this year, and you are hoping he comes up. And I'm assuming you're planning Manoah is going to do something. I think he fits your swingman role perfectly, and I don't think he'd be super expensive.
You said you're looking for your Ross Stripling. Ross Stripling is literally on the list.
Yeah, Ross Stripling also did. Opt
He's
out,
not as
so.
good as he was, but he's literally there. If you're looking for your Ross Stripling, you can
This
find
shows him having a player option at 15. He is not getting 15 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's not.
You're right.
Where do you see that he opted out?
He didn't opt out, but he's literally there. He could
No,
opt
Ross
out if
Stripling?
he wants to. Get another.
Again,
2-year deal.
he opted out today.
He did?
It's not updated to today. Ross Stripling opted out
There you go.
When?
like a couple hours ago.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Why? He could have $15 million and he opted out of that?
Wait,
Is he a fucking idiot?
wait.
Oh. I mean, you could get a multi.
I'm stupid. He opted in.
Yes, you are stupid.
12.5
Platoon.
Platoon. That's the title of this episode.
But yeah, like I think Lorenzen's obviously not a sexy pick, but I think it makes sense. He's a
not a
guy who's
bad
had
looking
success. He's had success in the rotation. He's had success in the pen. Like
He's had some sex.
he's had some.
Yeah,
sex.
he started pinch hitting and started having some sex.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Where are we at? Konnor?
So
Say something dumb here.
this is my hear me out pick,
Okay.
but apparently I'm batting 5 for 5 because Nate already fucking mentioned him as being a good idea. Tim
Okay.
Anderson. Like
I'm not against it. I think it's a buy low option, like kind of like Semyon was,
obviously,
but
you got to preface it by saying
Way
if he's
lower
your
than
only pickup,
That's bad.
that's terrible.
And if he costs you a lot of money, it's even worse.
I think
But
he's getting probably like a 1 year 5,
if
maybe a
That-
1 year.
Then I do it.
if
Maybe
we're
a one
playing
a
if
1
we're-
year. I'm
if
not
we're-
giving him
yeah.
10 million. I give him something under 10 for 1 year.
he
Sorry, Connor.
he would replace at the bare minimum Brant's favorite Blue Jay, Santiago Espinal.
He doesn't
At
even have to.
bare
He
minimum.
could replace Witt. Like we don't have a Witt
Also
replacement.
that
I would
Well,
argue
Schneider.
David Schneider's your
David
Witt
Schneider.
replacement this year.
Yeah, but they were both on the roster at the end of the year.
Yeah. Well, they were on the roster, but they were.
Yeah,
He was
okay.
also a 26
But-
man or 27. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
that's fair.
Also,
I think, like you said, sorry, Connor, but like you said, he replaces Espinal because he can play short. You don't have to
he can
carry
play
Espinal.
short.
Yeah, sorry.
And if you're playing the law of averages,
Mm.
2023 Tim Anderson is not Tim Anderson.
No, you're right. There was the worst year he's ever had.
Not even worst year by fucking
Mhm.
far.
Yeah, not even close.
Like,
And he
was-
wasn't that
He was
black
like
hole
statistically
of
the worst
Chicago,
baseball
like-
player in baseball this year.
yeah, he was
But-
also in the terrible space that was the White Sox organization.
Yeah, like
in
there is a
2023.
lot of bad things going around in Chicago. Maybe getting him out of there helps.
like, and he
It can't hurt.
No, not at all. It cannot hurt. Like he got in a weird way, as much as Jays fans would not like to hear this, he's kind of what the team wants in a hitter.
Mhm.
When Tim Anderson's at his best, fucking going to right field.
Yeah.
He's fighting shit off to right field.
Yeah.
Is athletic as shit.
Yeah. He was
also-
he had Bo Bichette comparisons like 2 years ago. Like they were
Yeah.
very similar players.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And also, when Tim Anderson is going,
Mm.
vibes are immaculate with that
Yeah.
guy. Like,
He's a
if you were-
fun player.
If you are bringing him in and expecting him to play 150 games this year, then we have a problem. If you are bringing him in to platoon or have a bench role and like with the ability to earn a bunch more playing time, I am 100% on board with that.
yeah, Tim Anderson.
I can't even find a pick. I'm still wrapped up in plaid. Me, man.
Dude, why is there an H? It's
That's
not
how it's
platoon.
Flathead.
No, it's pla.
It's definitely PLAH. Plah.
Oh,
Plahtoon. Dude, I don't-
There you go.
like 7 O's.
For those listening, Connor is updating our run sheet right now, so that's why we're making fun of him.
yes, it is Flathead.
I've got nothing right now. I've
Yeah,
come
you
up with
do.
like 7 honorable mentions that are kind of fun.
Just say one.
I just pick one. I've got a few that I would like to
Yeah,
mention at
there's
the
a
end
couple
too.
honorable mentions. that I have.
Is it wrong of me to say Blake Snell?
No,
And I don't think it makes sense,
don't
no.
make a ton of sense,
but
Because
No.
how many more years do you have, Gosman? 2?
3.
I think the thing with Snell is I'm gonna call this a Cy Young season because he's pretty much guaranteed to win, I think.
I don't
And his
think he's
first Cy
gonna do
Young season, those are the biggest outliers in his career. Like he's good.
Mhm.
He's probably a good I don't even know, like a 2-3 on a good team
Mhm.
other than this year. Like, but yeah,
Yeah, but it's just not like he's probably not going to do this ever again.
if I've heard people talking about like trade Kikuchi or whatnot, I don't think you're moving Barrios. You're not moving
No, I guess
Goss. I don't
Barrios
think you're
is
moving
legit.
Bassett. I think Kikuchi's the one who potentially could be traded. If you trade Kikuchi, I think that makes a lot more sense.
Mhm.
But
Even still, you're talking me out of it a little bit. I don't think it does make sense. I forgot about Barrios, honestly. And then
Well,
you're
and-
hoping Manoa can come back. You're now
Yeah.
slotting in 4 guys that you're hoping
Well,
could be your number 1.
and Tiedemann as well,
And Tiedemann, yeah,
right?
it
Like
doesn't make sense. I'm just gonna go with the fun pick because I don't think I've made very good picks in this draft. This is not a
No,
great
you're
showing
me.
for
You're
me.
meing this draft. I hope you
Yeah,
know that.
I'm just having fun with it. I'm gonna go with Joey Votto.
I think it'd be fun.
See, honestly, When you said when you were talking about Ryu, I fucking wrote Votto for years before you said
Did
Ryu
you?
name.
No, I didn't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't love this year's free agent class, and I think if we
Not
get
great.
any of our between the three of us, like the top 6 or 7 guys, I think if you can get 2 of them, then you're looking great.
Yeah.
It's not likely, but I think that's a spot where it puts you in a good position to be a competitive team this year. Joey Votto, on the other hand, I think he's just fun and Canadian and can be on your bench.
Man,
I don't think he's going to play.
He could be Brandon Belt for you, though.
I don't even think he can do that anymore.
I think he could.
What did Joey Votto do last year? He was not good.
This year wasn't good. I believe last year was decent.
I meant like the season that just happened. We are
I know
entered
what you meant.
the spot where it's now last year.
While you're looking it up, can we throw out some honorable mentions here? Because I got a couple that I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, before you get to your honorable mentions, you mentioned bringing in a catcher when Konnor talked about Garver. If you are going to trade Kirk, what's his name? Jesus, I lost his name already. White Sox guy.
No.
Grandal.
That's a fucking
If you're looking for just a straight up backup catcher.
I think you're going to have to pay him too much to be a backup. I don't think it's worth it. But yeah,
he's not that
I don't
great.
think they're trading Kirk. I'm just saying if you got Garver,
but if
on
that's
like
what I mean, if it was an
deal,
option, I think it's possible.
Yeah.
But did he slap Tim Anderson in the face, or did Tim Anderson slap him in the face?
I think
he slapped Tim Anderson in the face.
We gotta check our vibes. We're not Brandon Grandal and Anderson.
Yeah. I think maybe we bring them both in and we just try and reconcile the differences here. Jan Gomes, dude, hold on. If we're looking for a backup catcher,
he opted in.
Did he? Oh, I didn't see the club. Sorry, my bad. I just saw him on the list. I bring Jan Gomes back in a heartbeat. Austin Hedges, noted World Series winner. Austin Hedges. Martin Maldonado.
I got a couple that I think could be. I honestly wouldn't hate Martin as a backup platoon guy, but I don't think it makes sense for us.
Kurt Casale.
Why are we just going through the catching?
I'm just trying to trade. I'm trying so hard to trade Alejandro Kirk, but I cannot find a thing that makes sense.
I heard Arizona's got a pretty good guy.
Yeah, maybe they'd take a deal for him. No, we're off that. We're not. We can't talk
about
that fucking trade anymore.
Couple honorable mentions that I would be happy with, though. Again, as part of like more signings, but I think Michael Brantley would fit in this lineup really well.
I thought you were going to say him as like one of your
It was Rosario, Brantley, and Lorenzen, and I thought Brantley was going to be more injury prone, so I went the other two. I thought they're a bit more fun.
That's my concern with Michael Brantley is I don't know if he can stay healthy.
I'd take a flyer on him for the right price.
I don't think the right price is going to be there personally.
No, I don't think so either. I think
but if it is, you're right.
Yeah. Two other guys, I think I've mentioned them. I know I've mentioned them before, but Duvall and Renfro, I think kind of they give you a little bit of defense and they can bang. And I think they could slot into your lineup pretty nicely. Lower middle.
Yeah.
Does anyone know if Michael Conforto opted in?
I fucking would have if I was him.
Yeah, it's 18 million.
Okay. Because I could see them going after him. Not that I would do it, but
yeah, Conforto was one of my honorable.
Didn't we were connected to him
last year,
this offseason? Was it this offseason?
The one he just signed this year, right?
Gotcha. Yeah. I know we were the year before that or whatever, but he ended up playing.
Do you maybe here? Hear me out. Throw a few years at Liam Hendricks.
I don't know. I saw him on there and I thought about that.
Yeah. Also, that's kind of. I'm not gonna say it's scummy that the White Sox didn't pick it up, but like,
is it? Did he have TJ? Sorry.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't pitch next year. That's why it's got to be minimum 2.
I know. Yeah.
What are you guys' thoughts on Green? I think
he's back.
What is the deal with Chad? Chad Green's got that weird opt-out.
It's that weird
thing,
option. We have the option, then he's got the option, and then the Jays have a 2-year. It's a 3-1-2.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's back.
I think he'll be back, even if they figured a way to restructure it. But like, man, if you're losing Hicks, yeah, I keep forgetting his name. Green can slot into your 8th inning, man, like pretty seamlessly. I'd like it a
I didn't
lot.
love him this season, but
I mean, it's
you give him a
an
full
off
off season to
season
work.
healthy.
No spring
like,
training. He was coming in injured.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of things at play.
Yeah.
It's
My
possible.
honorable mention was kind of similar. It's in the same vein of Michael Lorenzen.
Mhm.
Padres pitcher Nick Martinez.
Okay.
Appeared in 63 games. He started 9. He has a history of starting.
Mhm.
He had a 3.43 ERA in 110 innings with 106 strikeouts. He's a guy that can swing back and forth. On a great day, he could start a game. Like, he's a better Ross Stripling and kind of better Michael Lorenzen. So
Yeah, he's probably going to cost you more. Is kind of my
a little bit.
yeah. I think I said the Lorenzen because I think you probably get him for not much. And
yeah,
a guy who has a history of helping the Blue Jays win, Lucas Giolito. He always gets fucking lit up here.
see, my thing is I don't want to get a fifth starter that you're going to have to give multi years to unless you're moving one of the 4 guys you have.
Yeah.
Sonny Gray.
Yeah, like I love all these names. It just
Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Like,
yeah. I just
that dude's gonna get paid.
couple names on the block. Very interesting. Very not going to happen. Randall Grichuk.
The crazy
I
thing
don't
is
hate it.
kind of in a world I see.
He
Mhm.
kind of hit for average this year. He's got some pop. He can run and
Yeah.
he can play center field for you.
Another one.
I said that at the deadline, didn't I? Or was it
yeah.
when he
We
got
brought it
waived?
up a couple times.
Yeah.
Another guy. I'm pretty sure there's been interest in the past. Joey Gallo.
That one I don't know how I feel about.
Mm.
I don't
It's
love
a
how
polarizing
much,
one.
I don't love how much it's like pure bang or bust with him.
Mhm.
But yes.
If you're looking for a pure DH, JD Martinez.
That's honestly I forgot about him, but that's one I was gonna bring up. I think that's an interesting one.
If we need bullpen pieces, Craig Kimbrell. I know
Nope.
he didn't do
I'm
very
staying away
well
from Kimbrel,
in
I
the
think.
end of the postseason there, but
Aaron
he had a good year.
I've got a trade that I
Mhm.
think kind of makes a lot of sense. I don't know who we're sending the other way,
Okay.
but I don't know what Milwaukee's doing. And I think Burns could be on the way out.
Mhm.
Willie Adames has 1 year left on his deal. I think you could bring him in, slot him in at third base, and slot him comfortably into the middle of your lineup and get quite a bit of good production out of him. And I think
That's not a bad idea.
probably don't
I don't
have
know
to give up
what you
something
give up the
crazy.
other way. It's
Yeah,
not going to
again,
be like
it's a 1 year
Tiedemann.
1 year deal left, right? Like so maybe you can give I don't know who would be prospect wise, but maybe you give them Espinal as part of it, and you can package a couple guys who are like major league caliber players, and like maybe
Sure.
he just needs a change of scenery and can turn something around. But I think
I don't hate it. I think it's a good idea.
it's
Okay.
he's a guy that's available that you don't have to give up a ton for, right? Like
Mhm.
that's what I like.
Yeah. He's not a top prospect type
I
of
have a
trade.
trade that I thought about for the Blue Jays.
Hmm?
It's for a guy only making. He's 1 year left on his deal.
Uh-huh.
He's making only $8.5 million. He would have led the team in home runs.
That's not saying much.
He had one more than the next guy, the guy that led the team. He slugged nearly 500 and
Okay.
played 125 games.
Hmm.
Can play multiple positions, and it just so happens that he's a bit of what we call the Blue Jays legend, Brandon Drury. There's your third baseman right there if you trade for him. Like,
Yeah, you could also slot him in at second if one of those other guys
He's not
comes
coming
up.
back.
he can play a bit of first.
He's not
He's
coming
not a
back.
free agent.
He's not a free agent.
He doesn't. Oh, I guess he doesn't have a choice in that point.
What do you got against Brandon Drury?
He doesn't want to come back here.
Why did he say that?
He's anti-vax and hates our prime minister.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to come back to the country. B, they already got rid of him. They're not. He's not gonna. He got dicked around the last time he was here. He's
He
not gonna
wasn't
want to
great
come
when
back.
he was here. I honestly like the player. I don't hate that. He's got some pop.
Fucking.
But
Brian, why'd you
I
mention
don't
that?
think
You
it
just poo-pooed on everything.
also, the Angels have if they we're all in agreement. Otani's not going back there, and they seem like they want to get rid of Trout too. Like if you get rid of both those guys, what the fuck reason do you have to have Drury on your team?
Yeah, like what's the point?
You need to
You
look
might
like
as
the
well
Oakland
just-
A's next year if you're
Yeah,
the
you
Angels.
go tank and you
Mhm.
get more prospects,
Mhm.
and apparently you just fucking draft all pitchers again.
Does anyone have any knowledge on Joe Kelly's option?
Nope.
Couldn't even
I
tell you
think
where he is right now,
the
to
Dodgers.
be honest.
He was in
I
LA.
thought so.
That would be
Uh,
fun. He's a
Yeah,
lunatic, but I think he'd be fun.
I any guy like that, like just come in, throw hard, and then
Uh-huh.
back into the bullpen. I really hope they make a bullpen acquisition. One reason I thought you'd like poo-poo the Lorenzen thing because I think that's kind of a role Bowden Francis can fill the swingman role, but
For
again,
cheaper, I think.
oh yeah, again, but we haven't seen much out of him yet. So you're
But what we
assuming
have has been pretty good.
oh yeah, maybe you give him a shot.
Yeah. I think it would depend on what you're paying Lorenzen at that point. Couple other options. Jesse Winker. Maybe as a minor league option. Like if you give Jesse Winker and I believe, don't quote me on it, but isn't Rowdy also, didn't they
We talked
DFA
about
him or
that.
something?
Yeah.
I think those are guys that like I would throw a minor league deal at and say, hey, see if you can crack the roster.
Yeah, I don't hate Rowdy. I really never understood why we got rid of him.
No.
Granted, it got us Trevor Richards and Bowden Francis. So.
Yeah.
Was Francis the other one in that deal?
Yep.
Yeah, it's worth it. I just saw a name and I fucking skipped. Harrison Bader is an interesting one.
I don't
know how I feel.
Absolutely hate it, but
Jack Flaherty's another one.
Again,
it's the same sentiment for me for pitching wise. I think you'd have to get rid of one of the guys we've got for me to be fully on board with it. But again, I don't hate it. Almost a Blue Jay.
Michael A. Taylor.
Josh Donaldson.
Yes,
I think it was.
Yeah, it was the Donaldson deal, but that was back when Flaherty was disgusting. Tommy Pham's another name that I know you liked in the past.
Yeah, to an extent. I think it made more sense with the lefty outfielders we had this year. It depends who've got alongside him, I think. But Jack Flaherty noted good buddy of Vladdy Guerrero. He gave up that bomb in Montreal to him.
I forgot.
Was it Jack Flaherty?
Yeah. Jack Flaherty.
Another. I don't think they even think about it, but do you think we help ourselves in the Varsho trade if we bring back Lourdes Gurriel Jr.?
In the fans' eyes, yes. In the realistic baseball sense, fuck
I don't
no.
know. I don't think he's only 30 years old. He's not like.
I don't think Teo and Lourdes are coming back. Personally, no. I just think the way it seemed like we wanted to get rid of the Barrio type deal at the end of the bench, which
Didn't work.
No, it didn't. But I don't think they want to bring back Lourdes.
No, I think you're right, but I think
getting rid of the Barrio did work for one person. Just didn't happen to be on the team. It was Lourdes Gurriel Jr. It worked out for.
Business wise, if you made the deal to get rid of Teo and Lourdes, retain the guys you got back for them, and brought them both back the next year,
that would kind of
that's pretty
pretty
wicked GM work.
So it would be in essence it would be Gabby
Moreno for everybody that
be Gabby for Teo Lourdes and Eric Swanson out of Mako. Fucking
Varsho.
The Varsho. Yeah. It's still not great, but I like that a lot more than.
It would look terrible, like optically, but
but if you just look at it in a vacuum, I think it's a little better.
Yeah, that's fair. There's a lot of interesting options out there. Like, do we want to talk about? I want to say no one mentioned Kiermaier coming back. I think that was interesting.
I don't see it happening.
I don't see it happening.
I think they've just given up on it. I don't know why.
I'd rather get Power there, but I think he was a very useful player for this team. And
I loved having Kevin Kiermaier here, but for some reason they don't seem interested.
He is unironic Blue Jays legend territory.
Yeah, it's wild. He had such a huge impact in one season here, and it's just not going to matter.
Belt's another one. Like if Belt wants to play another year, do you give him another flyer back?
Yeah, I think this was a miracle that he did what he did.
But aren't.
22 he wasn't amazing, but 21 he was like otherworldly too. Like I don't know.
He was good. I'm not taking the risk.
He had like 20 bombs in just over 100 games, I think, or 25 bombs. That was something stupid. Do we want to talk about like Witt's obviously a free agent now?
Fuck him.
No, I'm not saying bring up. I'm talking about the guys that we have that are leaving.
Mhm.
What are your guys' feelings on everything? You getting him come back?
I don't know
Uh,
why, but Whit
I-
Merrifield in the last month and a half has made me hate him for some reason.
Yeah, I know it's kind of weird.
I don't know. He didn't do anything specific. It's just like I'm not upset
Yes,
to
he
see him
did. I
go.
know
He
exactly
did
what he did to
he
you.
did
I
the
know
old man
exactly what he did to
baseball
you.
thing about the Barrio shit. Like, that's what he did.
Yeah.
I know exactly what he did to you.
What did he do to me?
He
I
took
can't.
playing time away from Kevin Biggio, and you hated it.
And Davis. I think that kind of hurt it too. Like the fact
Yeah,
that
that's
he was
fair. That's
playing,
fair.
he shouldn't have been playing down the stretch. He was fucking terrible.
That's fair.
And they just kept running. And that's not really his fault. Like he's not
But it
the
was
one
really-
putting himself in the lineup, but it was just like watching him play every day and then watch him kind of be a little bit of a bitch near the end of it. I'm like,
Oh, I know you absolutely loved when he got that walk-off squibber.
yeah, stupid shit like that. Like it's just, I don't know.
Um,
I'm not upset to see him go.
what was I gonna say? Oh, my mind's in shambles right now. Right off.
Could you say your mind was platooning?
That actually sparked my memory. I'm not sure why. But I was gonna say, are we all in agreement that Chapman is gonna get the qualifying offer
Yeah.
and that they should stay the fuck away from him?
He might accept it.
No,
I don't
he
think so.
won't.
He's getting a
He might-
multi-year deal,
Actually,
man.
I have
He's a
seen many
Boris guy.
articles. I've seen so many articles from people not in
He's-
Blue Jays media
He's getting 100
that have said after his great season, this team is interested in Matt Chapman. I'm like, take him. Like if
yeah.
he put up, I guess he put up the numbers to look like he had a good season, but fuck that. Go
Man,
away.
he could also go out there and put up like a 4 or 5 war season next year
Oh,
with the
for
defense
sure.
he plays. He could
For
hit
sure.
250, drive
he
in
had like a what
100
3.5
and
WAR
hit
for a year?
35 bombs.
Like,
Like he could
I-
easily do it.
I have no ill will for Matt
No.
Chapman, the man. I really like Matt Chapman, the person, and even at times the player, and defensively, definitely the player.
Matt Chapman,
But
the fastball kryptonite.
oh
Fuck
man,
off. Like
it's just
Um,
it was not fun to watch near the end, and I think he needs a change of scenery.
Who else? Hicks. I think they've kind of said they're moving on from. What do you guys think happens with the Chad Green?
he's back.
What do you think?
Didn't we
I'm
already
trying
have
to
this
remember
conversation?
these fucking
I think
numbers.
it's the 2-year deal option.
Yeah.
I don't know how much money that is.
I
But I
don't
think
know.
it's the 2-year deal.
I don't even want to venture to guess, to be honest.
I think that's all we got, right?
No. What's his nuts? The hitting strategist. What the hell was his name?
Oh, Dave Hudgens.
Dave Hudgens.
He
Thank you.
was okay. So they brought him in, and he was the bench coach or the hitting coach for a bit, wasn't he?
I don't believe so. Like
He was like the head hitting coach or something.
possible. That's possible, but
He did something.
I think
I
they
don't
all
know if
just
he
gotta
did
go.
something. He was there, but I don't think he did something.
I
He
think
was,
they all just got to go, man. Like I don't
He
know
did
who you
something,
bring
which is
in.
like
I don't know who you bring in, but clearly what these guys were saying was either not working or just falling on deaf ears, and I think you got to make a change.
I don't think it's a coincidence that they got rid of the hitting strategist because clearly the strategy this year was fucking brutal.
Well, also, like Guillermo didn't fucking seem to do shit, and
No.
wasn't there an article that came out that said basically guys just stop listening to him?
Yeah, his message fell on deaf ears. Like,
Yeah.
Why are you
It's time
paying
to
the
move
guy
on.
that?
Whether you believe that they make a difference or not, it just looks better optically to just be like, we're just gonna move on. The Hudgens one is so weird because they didn't even fire him. They just
they
said
they
goodbye.
Alec Manoa complexed him.
literally they
I think-
sent him to the moon.
I think
Said,
he's like
"Meh."
when we brought him in. I think it was he's widely regarded as a like good baseball mind. So maybe they figured they can use him in the minors somewhere and or another role in the organization. Obviously,
Was he the Trump supporter guy?
I don't know. He was
He was,
the one we
right?
brought in from Houston, I
Was
believe.
it him?
Right?
It was him or Hunter Mensch or some shit like.
No, I think it was
Fuck
definitely
Hunter Mentz.
I did nothing wrong.
Yeah, but he sounds like Hunter Pence. So
I
fuck
know.
off.
I think it was Hudgens that was the he fucking tweeted something relating. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's a shit dude. So I think I'm not, but I'm surprised they held on to him. It's a weird situation. I don't understand why he's here.
Is what it
If
is.
he's bad enough to not be on your major league roster, why are you having him teach the younger guys?
I don't know.
Like, is it because it looked bad that Davis Schneider came up and was our best hitter for a month and a half? Like, is that what's
Rourke came
going
up
on
and
here?
had a good bit. Clement was doing some stuff. Like,
Yeah, like, oh, everyone's doing too well down there. We need you to go fix that.
No, hey, if they didn't bring up the AAA hitting coach,
Mm-hmm.
There was some work down there.
I think early prediction. I think Damiano Parmigiani might be the next Davis Schneider.
Oh, dude, he's been
Might fuck
raking
around
in
and
that
just make a
fall
name
league.
for himself because
He's been.
Shitting on balls in the fall league, right?
Yeah. He was just in the home run derby too.
I think he had 22 home runs.
22.
Is his primary position third base? I don't know much about him.
He played third base for Team Canada, right?
Other than he's Canadian.
Damiano.
I don't think he played for Team Canada, did he?
No, he did.
Yeah, he was on the
I know he was
roster
on
at
the, he
least.
was on the roster, but I don't think he played.
On one of our podcasts, we
I
talked about him
thought
being.
he
He's a third
got
baseman, yeah.
in.
Is he?
Yep.
I don't know why I thought he was a first baseman. Yeah, like it seems like you could add him into the conversation with Arelvis and Barger as the internal options to fill some infield.
He played 21. He played 20 games at Buffalo last year. He bat literally 284, 427 on base, a 554 slug, and 4 home runs, 22 RBI.
Was he in
I think he
Double A
might fuck
before that?
around and do it.
He was in Double A for 108 games. Yeah.
Okay.
He
What
plays
were his Double A
third,
stats,
first,
do you know?
and second.
I'm just-
Double A in his Double A stats, he batted 250, 351, 463, 19 home runs, 71 RBI.
So that's an 800
pretty
OPS, right? That's how many home runs did you say? 19?
19.
78
It's not bad.
RBI, 71.
71.
I think
Strikeout
it's
to walk
interesting.
ratio, basically 2-1. Like,
It's
I think he could be the next Davis Schneider.
he starts at Double A next year.
For sure.
Like,
maybe. I don't love that his Double A stats weren't great. Like those are fine, I guess.
Good.
The average jumped.
Yeah. But I mean,
Yeah, I guess you're right. He had an 800 OPS. Never mind. I don't know
Yeah.
what I'm saying. The average jumped when he got to AAA.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is super.
yeah, it's not like it
realistic.
jumped from a 700 to an 800. It went from an 800 to a 900.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think he could be finding something, and it'll be interesting
Maybe.
to see where he trajects.
mhm.
Who is that massive dude that we had playing
Allen
first
Gordon.
base in spring training?
Oh, was it Rainer Nunez?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
He's been
I
good
think
too,
he's-
no?
he's
I couldn't tell you. I know nothing about him. I just remember watching him and he looks like he has fucking light tower power. That would be electric.
Guy's
But
just a
he-
gigantic
he
singles
hit a
hitter.
walk off. I remember he hit a walk off and goddamn.
Didn't he go on a run where he hit like homers in like 7 straight games or something this year?
Let's see. Rainer Nunez. He's only 23 or 22.
Yeah.
He was in Double A. He played A ball and Double A. He had an 820. He had an 836 OPS at A ball.
He hit 10 homers in Double A
He hit 10 home runs in Double A.
in
Granted,
78 games.
OPS was a 650.
Yeah,
like,
whatever. He's
so.
23. What is it? 22.
All right, boys. We got
He
anything
can
else
hit.
here? Or what?
I think
Yeah,
we're
we've
done.
been fucking
All right.
going for a minute here.
Let's fucking platoon our way out of here.
Platoon on. End the podcast there. That's all we need.
We'll see you next week.
Platoon.
Platoon.